I want to play Fortnite. This part's a boss fight. Headset, baby. Is it my turn to play yet? Run! Oh, we lost again. You messed it up. Go left, not right. It was an accident.
It's okay, kids.
Yeah, GG.
All right, welcome back to another episode of the Gamer Parents Podcast. My name is Kevin, and I'm joined by my wonderful wife, Joanne, and both of our kids tonight. So, want to say hi, Dylan? Why do you look so sad, buddy? You gotta say hi.
The intro messed up.
No, the intro was perfect.
No, because you stopped first.
It's okay. It was good, right, guys? All right.
The intro, when you stopped, it was still a continue. Sorry, we messed up.
All right, so we have our hands full. If you're here for the first time, you picked a great episode to try things out. Faith is practicing her intro lines that she had earlier, which you just heard, which is our brand new intro that we got to use for the first time tonight. They had fun making that, and so did we. But this is our 100th episode.
I like Mommy's cat ears.
Yeah, her cat ears are nice, huh? Yes. So yeah, we're celebrating 100 episodes tonight. So that's a big deal.
It's not.
Or at least we're gonna try to.
Can you say this again?
All right.
Mario.
But what else do we have tonight? Because we do. I wanted to celebrate this the right way, so we got a cake to at least on our end. I know via the internet it's hard to share that.
Headshot, baby. Say that.
All right.
Headshot, baby.
Want to help Mommy come get the cake?
Like this.
Wrangling Kids Edition, yeah. That's right. All right, we're done. Episode's over. We made it 3 minutes. No. They're going to go get the cake really quick just to show it off. And then yeah, we'll hang out some. We have all of the questions that we have been receiving over the last few weeks. So thank you to everyone who contributed with asking us some questions. I know already a number of you are in here, helped us out with that. And of course, that puts you in on the drawing for some prizes later. Okay. Hey, Faith, you come here. You come here. Let's see what you're wearing. Let's show off your dress. Who's on your dress?
Ariel.
Ariel from what movie?
Ariel. The witch.
From The Little Mermaid? All right, we have our 100 episode cake. And of course, it's an Oreo cake. You want to eat the cake? We can't eat it right now. Maybe a little bit later. Yeah. All right.
This is 100.
They can't. I don't think they can probably hear you from way over there, buddy.
With the 100 cake.
They had fun playing with the camera once we turned it on.
I know.
All right. Should
Go bring the cake.
All right, Joanne will be right back. Everybody. And Joanne should be coming back soon. And then we're going to get on with some, probably starting in some questions. Hey, Mark, I figured that was you. Thank you for being here. And we have our first guest for tonight. And Andrew, you still there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Awesome. Andrew of the Friendly Neighborhood Gamers podcast. I just want to put that out there. So if anyone has not checked them out yet, they definitely should. I know a good while back, you guys had me on for an episode.
We did. We interviewed you. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. I like that. So Andrew, thanks for being willing to hop on with us tonight.
Yeah, for sure. Congrats on 100 episodes. That's a big achievement.
Yeah, thank you. How many episodes are you guys at, by the way? Do you know? Or do you? Because I don't think yours are numbered.
Well, then I'm doing something. They should be numbered.
Okay.
Let me see. Our episode that goes out tomorrow says it's 131.
Okay, awesome. So we're just a little behind you. And okay, awesome. Joanne is back.
Yeah.
And I'm
The
trying
kids
to.
are having cake.
Oh, are they? All right. So the kids are happy then, basically. We have some questions, and I'm just going to go in order from what we have here. But we had someone asking who our favorite League of Legends characters were because they know that we play League of Legends. And I don't know if you do, or if you ever have, or if you would have an answer for that. And you can share later if you want to. But this was Pyro who asked us this. I already know Joanne's answers. You want to share yours? Yours are a lot easier than mine, probably.
Yeah, mine's just Miss Fortune because that's the first girl I play, and
The
just
character
wanna
that
get
it
used
forces
her.
you to play in the tutorial, and then
Yeah.
you just kind of stuck with it. And
Yeah.
makes sense. And then for me, my favorite character is probably LeBlanc. He's kind of like a glass cannon mage caster character who I always have a lot of fun with. And then probably Cassiopeia, Lysandra, and a handful of other characters, usually like magic dealers. And okay, question number 2. What is your go-to interesting or strange fact that you know? And I actually didn't even have a strange fact. That I don't even know. Like, do people have a strange fact that they...
Oh yeah, like when you meet someone and you just want to make a conversation. Mine would be
Like a did you know kind of thing?
Yeah, did you know? Like if you say SOCKS, like if you spell socks fast enough, it sounds like you're speaking Spanish.
Where
SOCKS.
you're technically saying something in Spanish?
Yeah,
Yes, by
it
spelling the
means-
word socks.
Yeah, SOCKS.
Sure, I guess that's ours.
There's the male seahorse has the
Oh
baby.
yeah,
Oh yeah,
that's a good
true.
one. That's a good one. All right, here's a good question. What Dungeons and Dragons or D&D class/subclass do you resonate with the most from your own perspective? I know for me, I've always kind of gravitated more towards like elf ranger type characters. So I feel like if I were gonna make like a D&D character, it'd be like something off of that.
Mine is the bard. If there's a bard.
There's usually a bard.
Okay, good.
It's got to be a bard. Andrew, do you have any experience with D&D and anything that you would pick for that?
Yeah, for me, like the one that resonates with me most would probably be like a fighter type character that just gets in and tries to solve problems through brute force. Actually, playing D&D, I've discovered that I really like the rogue class, but I don't know if that would if that lines up with the resonating with me as a person kind of angle that this question was coming from. But I do enjoy playing it.
Gotcha. That works. All right, now for gaming, iPhone or Android, and which is better? I've always been an Android user. Joanne here has always been an iPhone user.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I don't think, I mean, it seems like for the most part, you can, play at least mobile games on either device pretty well. I've just always preferred Androids for other reasons, and plus, it seems like a lot of games, as far as your progress, don't really transfer over between Android and iPhone. Plus, I know there was the whole Epic and iPhone thing going on for a long time, so that might impact someone's decision.
Mark says that he's Team iPhone.
It's Team iPhone. That's okay. I'll forgive you, Mark. So we're kind of divided here in this family. What about you, Andrew? What do you go for?
I've mostly been iPhone, just general use, but I did have like an HTC phone for a while, but I didn't really play any games on it, and I don't do a lot of gaming on my phone outside of like Marvel Snap. So for me, it's like I could, if I want to stream games from the Xbox or do PlayStation, their little remote play thing, like that works on pretty much any phone. So for me, like everybody that I know and like my whole family is all iPhone, so we're all kind of in that ecosystem. So it just makes sense to stay iPhone.
Yeah, that makes sense. I've definitely gotten a lot of remarks from being in group chats with people when I'm the one
You have
Android
the green
user.
bubble.
Yeah, I get that
know.
all the time. But other than that, I love my Android, and I always have.
And Nick V says he has an iPhone, but he always thought Androids were more accessible.
Gotcha.
I'll
Okay.
be right back. Kids
Ne-
are calling.
Yep, kids are calling for mom. So summer or winter, and why? I have always liked summer, or sorry, I've always liked winter months. I like colder weather. Obviously, fall's nice too, but summer I kind of dread, especially here in Texas. I'm sure if I lived way up north, I'd probably be okay with summer and probably not like the winter and crazy snow. So probably depends on like where I live, but for the most part, anywhere between like 40 to 60 degrees is like fine for me. I know Joanne's. I'll answer for her because she's not here. She grew up in Malaysia, where it's like sticky and humid and warm year round, basically, because they're not too far from the equator, and so she's totally fine with warmer weather. And so it's probably the opposite. A little bit colder weather gets to her more. So we get both here in Texas, but just the extremes. What about you, Andrew? What do you prefer?
Yeah, I'm just a few states over from you in Mississippi, so we have the really brutal summers as well. But I still feel like I probably prefer summer, just because winter is like much more confining. You're doing things indoors and whatnot, and then when spring finally rolls around and you're able to get back outside, there's just something special about that, and you can go swimming and hiking and camping and all that kind of stuff, and go to the beach it's nice. We're majority summer here for sure. It's like
Yeah.
summer and then like spring and fall very, very short, and then we have like a couple weeks of brutal winter, and then that's about it.
Yeah, that sounds pretty close to kind of how we have it here for the most
Yeah.
part. Before I jump into the next question, we do have another guest who's ready to join us. So I am going to bring him in really quick and introduce him. Hey, Tim, are you there?
I am here. Can you hear me?
Awesome. Yes, we got you. Thanks for being here and for being willing to hang out with us for our 100th episode. And
Yes, congratulations to you guys.
thank you. No, we
you.
appreciate that. It's been a long. This is about 2.5 years in the making. If anyone's curious of when we originally started, including like about a 6-month break in there, but for the most part, we've come out with an episode almost every single week. So it's been a lot of fun though, and it's awesome being able to celebrate it today. So yeah, and just to kind of introduce Automatim, he also streams and has an awesome community himself, and he's also part of the Gamer Parents community, and so he's definitely
Proudly
cool.
so.
If you haven't checked him out yet, you should. He streams a couple times a week, and he's very entertaining, and I love hanging out in his streams.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah. So let's keep going on with these questions. We are just barely making a dent with all the questions we've collected. This one's a fun one. It's related to brownies. So when you get to indulge in some brownies, do you go for the corner pieces or the center pieces of the brownie? I'd probably go more for the center pieces. Although I would recognize the corner pieces are great to like throw in a Ziploc bag and like take with you somewhere and just like a nice easy snack, and like they don't necessarily have to be like heated up or fresh as much, and they're still pretty decent. But like if I have first picks, I'll probably take a centerpiece.
Corner for me.
Somebody has to.
I guess so, yeah. I assume then you're corner pieces for sure.
Everyone's
Is everybody else
if-
corner
if it's an
pieces?
option. Corner's the way to
Corner.
go.
Yeah.
Corner piece, 100%.
I gotcha.
And
I
then
guess
you
I'm-
take your head piece after that, and then you begrudgingly take centerpiece.
Whoa,
Yeah.
Nick says centerpiece.
Centerpiece. Okay, so Nick's with me too. Then I guess that's okay. Awesome. All right, next question. If a game has a character creation, do you make a character that's your own gender, or do you go with the opposite? Now, I think we're getting into Andrew's questions, if I remember right. This was your question, Andrew, or
Yeah, it sounded
One of them?
familiar when you
Okay.
read it, but it was
I
so long
think
ago
it-
that I submitted it.
I removed names from my list, so I'm pretty sure that's what it was. I'll go ahead and answer that one first. I always make a character with my own gender. And I mean, I had a lot of friends growing up who like did the opposite, right? And I kind of get that, but like for me, it was more like for me to try to feel like that character that I'm more, submersed in the world of the game that I'm playing, and that's easier for me if it's the similar to me as possible, I guess.
Yeah.
So I'd pick the same gender as me normally. What about you, Joanne?
Same gender.
Same as you?
Yeah.
What about you guys, Andrew?
For me, I think it depends on the game. Like if I know there's romance options, then it's similar to you, where like I'd rather role play as my own gender. But a lot of times, if there's not that, or if I don't really know what I'm getting into, I'll role play as the opposite gender and make a female character. But then sometimes it's a game. If it's a game that I replay like multiple times, I'll do different, like one playthrough as this, one as that, and just kind of see if that changes anything.
Okay, nice. Yeah, I've done the same. I want to say like with the was it Assassin's Creed Odyssey, or yeah, the one where you could play as like the male character or
Odyssey
female
and
character.
Valhalla
Yeah,
both
but-
had
Yeah.
the options for gender bending. Yeah.
Yeah, and I feel like for me it was because like those characters like were already their own character. Like you're not choosing how they look
Right.
and their name and all that stuff. I feel like you're not really trying to play as yourself. And so that was kind of one exception for me on that one. What about you, Tim? What do you normally choose?
So I kind of go into what you were talking about with the like immersion side of it. I usually, if I'm playing a game, I'm kind of playing it how I feel like I would interact in that world to whatever the limitations of that game are. I don't mind playing as like a female protagonist, and I find those stories to be very interesting a lot of the times. But if I'm making my own character and choosing, I tend to like make some cooler version of myself in order to interact with the game world that I'll be jumping into.
Okay, that's cool.
I see people in your chat talking about making their wife, and I feel like I tend to do that when I do create a female character. It ends up being eerily similar to my wife for some reason.
That's pretty good.
That's funny.
They set the bar high now for you, Kev.
Yeah, yeah. I haven't like done through the character creation thing or anything, but we got a baby shark. It's not stuck in everyone's heads.
Fallout 4 was one of those games where you could create both yourself and your wife or your spouse in that game, depending on which character you pick. And I didn't realize it at the time. And later, I saw people like posting pictures like they made themselves this character and then their spouse this character. And I thought, like, what a neat way to like have a character that's completely like unimportant to the story, but people were putting in all this effort to create.
That's kind of funny. I think I don't think we've played games like together where, except maybe like World of Warcraft, but like my character was made years ago, so it's not like I went in and changed anything. But as far as I don't think we've like started a game with like high level of character creation to go and like make one that's exactly like me or you.
Yeah.
Especially when a lot of games have characters of like different species and stuff.
Yeah. I like choosing a different species, not human.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, a lot of games that we've played were like that. Baldur's Gate and plenty of others. Okay, would you rather play a sci-fi game or a fantasy game? I find I always kind of gravitate more towards fantasy games, and which is weird because when it comes to like movies and television, I usually like sci-fi genre a lot more than fantasy. But then when it comes to video games, I end up playing a lot more fantasy games. So I don't know exactly what that means, but I guess when it comes to video games, I enjoy fantasy more. What about you guys? Anyone got anything?
It's fantasy for me,
Fantasy.
100%.
And I feel like I usually gravitate towards like sci-fi, and I have a high level of interest in sci-fi. But thinking back on it, I do see myself leaning more towards fantasy style games. Like I preferred Skyrim over Starfield. Like those are That's an easy pick for me for some reason. But I like sci-fi books and movies more than I do fantasy movies.
Gotcha. Yeah, it sounds probably similar to me then. What about this one? What's the best video game controller of all time?
Xbox.
Really?
It's
Yeah.
probably Xbox. Yeah, they've just fine tuned it at this point.
Do you think? I mean, for me, I feel like between Xbox and PlayStation, it kind of comes down to what you're used to. I could definitely rule out any of the Nintendo controllers.
Like the
Like,
offset stick.
The N64.
yeah, that was a nightmare. But for me, I've had like the OG Xbox, and I liked that controller probably a little bit more than the PS2 controller that I had around the same time. But I mean, as far as the PS4 controller, I liked, and then PS5 I like that one too. So for me, it'd probably be either PS4 or PS5. But I haven't played like a current gen Xbox controller yet, so it could very well be there too.
I think the PlayStation has managed to fit all the technology that they have in their controllers very well into their controllers. I love the little touchpad, the haptic feedback, stuff like that. Absolutely love. But the Xbox controller to me feels better in my hands. And especially with the PS5 one, I've on just a few occasions picked one up, and I think Xbox feels better. But I wish Xbox would bring in the technology that PlayStation has.
Gotcha. Yeah, for me, the feels better part can really be just a preference, and kind of comes down to probably what you spend the most time with. But that's kind of how I felt like when I had both consoles side by side. Like I could go with either one, and now I know like if I got an Xbox, probably the main thing I'd complain about is probably that I'm just not used to the controller.
Right.
The Switch Pro controller feels pretty good though.
Really?
For Nintendo. Yeah.
Yeah, I got tired of using the Joy-Cons, whatever, for playing games with. So I got like just a regular looking controller. It's not the Pro, but it was just like some off-brand thing.
Right.
No one's hands are shaped like that. I don't know. They made it a square.
Yeah, yeah. It was weird. Weird to say try and play anything difficult with it because I just felt like I was at a disadvantage. All right, this is a good question. Should the Elden Ring expansion be eligible for Game of the Year this year? And Andrew, I remember you were the one that asked this, so I think it's only fair that you give us your answer on that question.
Yeah, so I thought this was interesting because at the time it was about to come out and people were talking about it, being such a big expansion. If it were to come out as its own game, it probably could stand alone as its own game. So I thought it was interesting to think about. I personally think that in the era and landscape of games that we're in currently, where the expansion for Cyberpunk got nominated for awards last year, I don't see any reason why it can't be in the running. Will it win? That I don't know.
Right. I would think it'd be pretty hard for an expansion to win just because people like already lived and breathed Elden Ring like the last couple of years.
Right.
Especially
and
the
Tears
year.
of the Kingdom being its own game didn't even win, and it was it was essentially an expansion to Breath of the Wild. So
Yeah. But I mean, also, I think I heard the Elden Ring expansion is it something like another 40 hours of gameplay or like something?
Yeah, probably
insane.
At least I put at least 40 hours into it.
Yeah, where I mean that is enough to be its own like kind of standalone game. So that's a tough question. I don't know. I kind of just want to say like it depends, but I mean, I kind of think in the case of the Elden Ring expansion, like I think it has to be like large enough to, but then it's also like, how do you vote on that and not consider like anything original? And plus, obviously, expansions are built
a brand new game.
Yeah, expansions are built on top of a base game, and it's hard to like what do you contribute to being the expansion, and what do you contribute to just being Elden Ring getting another shot at Game of the Year?
There's got to be a line somewhere there, though, because I mean, like you brought up Tears of the Kingdom, like at some point, like to a degree, every sequel is just built on top of the engine of the previous game for the most part. I mean, obviously there are exceptions. So, at what point do we decide what is and isn't considered a new game. I would say by definition alone, any expansion wouldn't fall into that. But if Elden Ring is adding in another 40 hours, I mean, they could have sold it to us as a whole new game, and we would have all paid way more money for it, probably.
Yep, we would have all bought it.
Right, and so
Yeah,
would they get punished for being consumer friendly?
true. Yeah, yeah, that's a good point. Also, all right. Next question. As a nerd parent, what property from your childhood do you hope your kids get into? For me, for a long time, it's been Pokemon, just because I was really into Pokemon when I was a kid, and I've been working on my son with that for a while, and every once in a while, we'll open up a pack of cards, or I'll show him like a Pokemon game from the N64 days, or there's this thing that we were doing for a while called Pokemon of the Day, where every day he'd ask me, what's the Pokemon of the day? And I would give him a new Pokemon of like, all right, this is the Pokemon of the day. I'd tell him who it was. I'd show him a picture, right? And then he knows they evolve, so he'd already like start asking who do they evolve into and stuff. He loved it. It seemed like I think it's been a while since he's asked. We've kind of forgotten about that, but he was enjoying it when we were getting into it some. So I hope he kind of keeps that going a little bit. But Joanne, do you have anything to answer that question?
Covered it.
Okay. What about you guys? Got anything?
Well, for me, my oldest and she's 5, coming up on 6. We've already watched the entire series of Avatar: The Last Airbender, with the exception of the Puppet Master episode with the blood bending. That's a little bit creepy. So I'm already pretty happy with that. She likes Avatar: The Last Airbender. But as she gets older, of course, I definitely hope that she gets into like Lord of the Rings and some of the more like OG kind of fantasy franchises and properties that I'm into.
Okay, nice.
My daughter, it was Pokemon too, to the point where I had to like step back and ask, like, how much am I forcing this? Like, at what point am I allowing her to have her own autonomy here?
You will like Pokemon.
Right, yeah. 'Cause she took like a natural liking to it and an interest, and then like when cleaning out some stuff, I found all of my like old little figurines, and so I gave her all of my stuff, and I gave her a lot of Pokemon cards and everything. And when my son came around, I didn't have a lot of stuff to give him anymore, and so for him, I think we're right at maybe the age where I might try to like see how he's interested in Dragon Ball Z, but yeah. So, but his thing is Transformers, and that was none of my doing at all. I just can't get him to sit down and watch the original series with me.
Nice. Yeah, I think one thing I would add after you guys talk about shows and stuff too, but I remember like when I was in high school starting to watch Naruto, and that I spent countless hours into watching that anime, and after Joanne and I got married, I made her watch it with me. It actually wasn't even that too many years ago, but and then now we've just started getting our son to watch some as well, just the very beginning, because there's some stuff I wouldn't want him to watch in there, especially like as the episodes go on. But
that's the hard part.
Yeah,
is like trying to figure out when it's appropriate, and like when does your own personal fan service to your children have to like get to that point.
Right. Yeah, definitely. So I think it's just the very beginning is okay when he's a kid, and then kind of wait on some of the older stuff. I think is probably a good idea. All right, but next question I have here is, what video game character made the biggest impact on you as a kid? And actually, we're getting into Tim's questions now. So Tim, you have an answer for that one?
So Cloud Strife was my biggest influence as a kid. I couldn't play a lot of those games like on my own, so that was something I shared with my uncle, and so that was already kind of like its own special thing. But I thought Cloud was so cool, and looking back at it now, I realized he was just kind of a jerk and didn't even talk a whole lot. But for some reason, giant sword, spiky hair, I thought he was the coolest guy, and that's who like that's who I wanted to be as a kid.
That's cool. I never played the original, Final Fantasy VII the old one. But I kind of see what you mean. Cloud definitely strikes me as kind of a cold character sometimes.
Yeah.
But cool. I mean, the Buster Sword and just he's a pretty cool looking guy.
So cool.
I know that's actually one of Joanne's favorite characters to like see people cosplay as. She likes cosplay, and that's a pretty common one that you see.
I don't have the physique to go that far, but
None of us do.
Yeah.
I mean, there's some people that do, I'm sure, but
I guess I'll go ahead and go next. I mean it's hard to think about like video games as a kid for me without thinking about people like Ash Ketchum or Link for playing a lot of Zelda games.
Yeah.
Oh, Mark said, yeah, I know Mark he loves the Zelda games too, probably even more so than me. But I just like growing up, just like there was a couple of different Zelda games that were kind of a staple of my childhood. And of course, I couldn't really not say Mario either. I played a lot of Nintendo like in my earlier age of gaming, so those probably like round up Nintendo pretty well.
yeah.
What about you, Andrew? Do you have anything for that one?
yeah, mine probably would have to be Link as well. Just Zelda was the game that like me and my sister were pretty much one of us was always playing a Legend of Zelda game growing up, and like Wind Waker, Twilight Princess, those are like the top two probably.
Yeah.
But we played any Zelda we could get our hands on. We played Soul Calibur 2 on the GameCube because Link was in it. Link was like when I think back to like childhood video games, Legend of Zelda is pretty much at the top of that list.
Nice. Yeah. For me, it started more like Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask, and then as far as Nintendo consoles, I didn't really have a lot for a while. So then, not until the Switch, pretty much. So it was a big jump from Majora's Mask to Breath of the Wild.
Oh yeah, for sure. Ocarina was my first one, but I played it with like two of my friends, and we'd play it at like sleepovers every weekend, and so we'd take turns, kind of who was on the controller, and so like I have very fragmented memories of that game, but it was definitely the introduction for me.
Yeah, that was a great game. I actually just recently played through it again for
I've
probably
been
the
feeling
third
like
or
I
fourth
should
time.
replay it.
Yeah, it was fun. I mean, you struggle with the N64 camera control and stuff, but
Right.
it was worth it. It's fun. All right, next question. And actually, real quick before I do that, I'm gonna note that Kristen said hello. So say hi to Kristen for us, Mark. And how do
Hi,
you
Kristen.
how do you balance screen time with your kids while also being people who spend a lot of time on screens? That's definitely something that we think about because we don't just want to let our kids be, on their iPads and TV and stuff all day. So we definitely try to limit them to how much our kids like to just hang out on their iPads. And I try to make sure that, as someone who also spends a lot of time on my screens, I try to make sure that I'm not on my screen if they're not allowed to be on their screens. Because I can't say, hey, you can't have your iPad right now, and then like sit next to them on my phone, right? Just so that's kind of fair, and obviously we just try to keep limits on them with how much they can play, like hour or so at a time. I think that kind of goes for Joanne, obviously, because we share kids. What about you guys? Either of you have anything to add for that?
For me, we just kind of let Bluey babysit the kids. Like Bluey can raise them. Ever since Bluey came out, they do a better job of parenting than we ever could. No,
and it's obviously better than all of us. So
yeah, exactly. This dude raising the bar. No, it's like you said. It's a balance, and we're fortunate that we have like we can do things outdoors where we live pretty easily. So there's a lot of like going to the park or going swimming or doing other things like that. So I really don't feel like whenever my kids want to watch some Bluey or play on the Switch or whatever, usually they've done enough that day already to be like, yeah, that's fine, go for it, you know. And on the rare occasion that it has to kind of be cut off or be like, that's enough for one day, they don't usually fight back. And like you said, it's similar thing where like if they're not sitting on a screen, then I'll try not to as well, and we can do something together. Let's color a picture. Let's do something away from the screens until it's fair for both of us to go back to our screen time.
Okay, yeah, that's good. It's tough, I think, especially as being gamers, because we've probably growing up spent a lot of time on video games as well. So
Yep. And that's what I would say too, is that I grew up where it was like I would do my homework and there was a screen on. Like I potentially through my teenage years there was a television on even as I went to sleep, and so looking at it and trying to like gauge how much my children are attached to screens and stuff like that. I try to set like part of the routine, like when we get home, I pick them up from school. When we get home, let's wait till after dinner before we turn the television on. And
Yeah.
my biggest challenge is what you talked about earlier was like, I got 5 minutes to sit down. I just told you guys you can't have your tablets, and then I'm going to get my phone out and I have to explain like why am I allowed to do it and you're not, those kind of things. So that's the challenge there, is like trying to stay off of my own while I'm telling them they have to also wait. And then usually by that point after dinner, there's an hour and a half, 2.5 hours usually till bedtime. So then it's just, how do we want to use that time, and our screen's a part of it.
gotcha. Yeah, no, that's kind of the same over here, but it's always kind of a daily thing for how we feel about things. Before we get on to the next question, we have another guest who is ready to jump in. So I'm going to pull in Patrick. If you give me 1 second. Hey, Patrick, can you hear us? Oh, looks like you hopped back out. Hold on. Hey, Patrick, you there?
You hear me?
Hey, yep, I can hear you.
Oh,
Hey, how you doing?
right, there it is.
All right. So
Happy 100, guys.
thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, 100 episodes. Two to 2.5 years.
100 KJ After Dark.
Yeah, that's how it started. And for those that didn't know, our name was KJ After Dark for a little bit at the very beginning, until we got too many weird looks and questions about that.
Yeah, that sounds a little
We were
steamy.
like, yeah, it was. Well, we were thinking like a name for after the kids are down and we're doing our gaming at night and stuff. But yeah, it didn't really send the right message, so we changed that pretty quick.
I do want to answer the question about how you game with kids.
Yeah.
Just don't sleep. Just skip sleep.
There you
know
go.
what I mean? Like just 4 hours. It's all you need. Just train your body into 4 hours a night. That's all you need.
And I can't have Patrick come in without sharing that he's a co-host of the Good Morning Guys podcast. So highly recommended. If you haven't checked them out, you should. They're a lot of fun.
Yeah, we try. Very little. Garbage Truck on Fire podcast.
Yeah, it always works.
Perfect.
Still somehow
Adding
works.
it right now.
Yeah. All right. Awesome. Next question. What's a game that you've played that you felt was just bad? And I will go ahead and start off by saying that game for me was Bluey the video game. Now, I love Bluey. I love watching the show. I love everything that they've put out on the TV. But the video game, I couldn't really handle it.
It only takes like an hour to beat. I mean, come on.
Yeah, it was extremely short, and it felt like a waste of like $40.
Oh yeah, if you paid for it, I played it on Game Pass, so
Yeah,
I was
yes.
fortunate
Game
enough to not pay and I reviewed it on my YouTube channel, and that was what I said was like, if you can get this game for free or whatever, go ahead and give it a shot. But if you have to pay full price, don't do it.
Yeah, my son had been really wanting to play it, and we went out and got it, and then I think like a month later it came out on Game Pass, like every other game that we buy.
The age-old story.
It's the dangers of buying games nowadays.
Yeah,
That's true.
I literally, I was just telling Joanne, like, don't let me buy any more games because I have too many things on Game Pass that I could be playing. So, yeah. What about, does anybody else have any games that they feel were just bad?
Oh man. So I've said this before, and if you haven't heard, there's this game called The Quiet Game, and the protagonist, like some of it is CG, but most of it is live action, and the protagonist is deaf. The entire game is silent. It sounds cool because I've never been done before, but the gameplay in the entire game was no good. One of the worst games, if not the worst game I've ever played.
Did you play it all the way through, or did you get at some point?
I don't quit. No. Nobody sells on quitters around here. You start a game, you finish it.
Yeah, I think the way that games are made nowadays, it's almost like you could, just breeze through it really quickly and just go straight to the finish line, or you could really take your time with, side stuff and exploring and that kind of stuff. So if it's a game I don't like, I guess depending on how bad it is, we still beat Bluey, but yeah, I can either just like go straight to the end or take my time with it if it's something I like more. But
I don't like The Secret Neighbor.
Secret Neighbor was one that you didn't like. Yeah, I didn't like that one either. I don't know if anyone's played that, but it sounded like it would be kind of fun, somewhat like a Among Us type of game, but obviously it looks a lot different. But I didn't really like that one either. I don't know. Does anybody else have anything, Tim or Andrew?
So, honorable mention here to Mutant Year Zero. My wife bought it on the Switch, and she never got around to playing it. I played it, and I only got about an hour in before I couldn't just go on. And it was more on me than it was the game. I didn't care for the way the game was, like the UI was set up and everything, and it was a tactic style game. But I was interested in it because it's one of those, like, as you build up, like, you can add certain mutagens to your characters. So you can have like a moose with butterfly wings. I just couldn't ever get to that point because I couldn't get through the gameplay. But the main one that I want to bring up is, and it's funny that you brought up the Bluey game because it's made by Outright Games. And
Paw Patrol.
Well, no, it's the Zoids game.
Okay.
And I bought it because I loved that cartoon when I was a kid. And I played a few of their games, and it's essentially, it was part of the new series, so I was like already a little disappointed, but then I was okay, it'll be fine, even though there's no characters I know in it. But it ended up being just a rock paper scissors fighting game,
Nice.
and it was the worst. I mean, it was the game that made me tell my daughter, if you ever see a game and it's got that little OG in the bottom, just don't buy it. It's not worth it.
It's a life-saving tip.
That's hilarious. Yeah. I was one of the fortunate few that got invited to play the like alpha for Skull and Bones. So I played that, and then I never played any more of Skull and Bones. I didn't play any betas. I didn't buy the game. I won't play it if it comes to Game Pass. Like, that was enough for me.
Gotcha. No, I feel like I played it when it was called Sea of Thieves. And then I was like, I'm good. Yeah. I got my pirate fix, and that was actually an interesting game type because Joanne, who gets motion sickness easily, like could not play anything like that. I
got seasick.
Yeah, she got like real life seasick from playing Sea of Thieves. Yeah, Sea of Thieves.
Well, you're not missing out on anything with Skull and Bones.
Yeah.
What an impression, though.
Yeah. I just, from a time standpoint, I probably need to pick up the pace here a little bit, so I might cut these a little bit shorter. But what's a popular game franchise that you've never played? There's a handful for me, actually, that I've never played. I actually just got into Horizon for the first time like a week or two ago. But ones that I have never touched, like Uncharted, I'll probably get some flack for never having played an Uncharted game. I've also never played like anything from like Metal Gear Solid, or let's see what else. I know there's more for sure, but does anyone have any popular game franchises that they've never played?
I never have and never will play Kingdom Hearts.
Why?
No.
There's always one. There's always one Kingdom Hearts fan.
I mean, like I'll let you live your life the way you choose to live it, but I
I
I'm
missed the
curious.
boat, and at this point, like I don't really feel like trying to go back and play the mobile game and the DS games and all that to catch up. So
No, you just play the main ones. You watch videos for the other ones. They're garbage.
okay, gotcha.
I can't give you guys any flack because I've never played a Zelda game before.
Oh my
Wow,
God.
that's a big one. Yeah.
Ugh.
Wait, how do we? Kick
How
somebody
how
from
are
the
you friends?
call?
How are you friends with Mark?
you said that you're never gonna play a Kingdom Hearts game. I will never play a Zelda game.
We're even.
If they make it more mature, which they never will, I won't jump into one.
I don't even know what to say to that.
Right, delete the podcast I looked up earlier.
Ugh.
You can hate me all you want.
Yeah,
I don't care.
You could have said like Pokemon. I don't know if I don't know, I felt better about that. Like,
Mario, even.
yeah.
I've never played a Pokemon game before.
Oh my goodness.
What about?
Are you trying to like unlock some sort of secret achievement in life?
Yeah. He's gonna be in the world record. The only person
Yeah.
never to play a Zelda or a Pokemon game. No.
I see you in the
I'm
chat.
more
All
of
right,
like-
I'll keep it downloaded.
Yeah. My games are more like Grand Theft Auto, Madden, MLB, games like that.
Okay, I got you. I'm getting the
Uncharted,
clearer
though, played all
picture.
those.
now.
Metal Gear Solid, all of those.
But Tim, what about you? What franchise have you never played?
So it's funny that you brought up Metal Gear Solid because that's the one that has always been there for me. Like I've always had an interest in playing it, but never have gotten around to playing it. And every time I see a game go on sale where I'm like, I could get it, and I can finally like play it, I think like they're so far into this franchise that like you're like Andrew's talking about like Kingdom Hearts. So I have to go back so far to try to like get into it and experience it, and I would want to play all of it.
Yeah, it's good. It's hard to go back and play Metal Gear Solid 1 on PS1. I mean, they're remaking the Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater, so that would be a perfect time to jump into it.
Yeah, I don't think I know
That's the
enough
original
about
timeline.
Metal Gear Solid to
That's the original timeline.
try to jump in with it.
We'll
But-
do it.
Yeah, sure. Go ahead. So before we jump into the next question, we promised to do some giveaways throughout the episode. So we're going to do our first one. We're going to do, I think, 4 different ones. So we're going to start our first one. I did promise my son that we would let him spin the wheel.
Nice.
Of course.
And it's a virtual wheel. I'm going to switch to my desktop screen so people can see. But we have the wheel. Oh, here he comes. You can hear him.
That's a nice wheel.
Yeah. So Dylan, go ahead and click anywhere on the wheel to spin it. We're gonna see who wins, and they're gonna win a gift card of their choice. We can do things like a Steam gift card, or Amazon, or Nintendo, whatever they want. We can do.
Spin?
Go ahead and spin it, buddy.
Ow.
Just click anywhere on the wheel, and it should spin. There it goes. Don't get dizzy. Oh! It was.
Oh, it's so close.
All right, Christina. It was really close to all of you. I mean, Hollywood Bones, Tim, and Angie. I barely missed y'all. Okay, so Christina is our first winner of our 4 giveaways. We'll just do another one because we're kind of behind on the spins. So
Okay, Faith.
we're gonna let Faith do it.
Congratulations, Christina.
Yeah, when you said 100 questions, I thought, wow, they are ambitious, but I
Yeah.
wanted to see it for myself. So
All right, go ahead and spin the wheel, Faith. You click here. Click here. There you go. Click. There you go. She can barely contain the excitement. Mr. Pastor Coach Ham. So
Nice.
Lucas wins the second prize. Okay. So
congratulations.
My turn.
Good on you.
that's it for now. And in a little bit we're gonna do more, but that's it for now, buddy. All right. Good night, kids. All right. So 2 prize winners. So congratulations to Christina and Mr. Pastor Coach Ham. I'll be reaching out to them later to handle the prizes. But back to the questions. If I can find them. Like, if you could choose 3 games to erase from your memory of playing and play them again for the first time, what would those games be? I've been thinking about this one. I would probably pick Final Fantasy X as one of those games to be able to play again and for like the first time, just because of the story. I feel like you kind of have to pick story games with this question, and then probably God of War maybe would be another good one for me.
The new one?
Probably 2018. I mean, the new one was good too, but I feel like
that's the
Yeah,
2018
yeah.
is what
Yep.
I meant. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. And then if I had to pick a third one, I don't know, maybe like Ocarina of Time or something, would be cool to do like completely fresh again. But I don't know if anyone else has any thoughts on any, at least even just like one game that you wish you could erase from your memory and then play it again.
Yeah. For me, it would definitely be The Witcher 3, Bloodborne, and then probably number 3 would be like Elden Ring, but like definitely those first 2 I would love to replay again fresh.
That's cool. Yeah, Witcher 3 would be a pretty good one for me too.
Twilight Princess was the one that came to mind for me first. Like I love that game, and like going back and replaying it again, like just made me desire to play it, having no idea what I was doing. I would like that. Pokemon would be another good one. I feel like because I'm at the point now where I've existed for so long and I'm so invested in it. I know too much about it, and I love that blind going into like Gen 1 as a kid, like figuring everything out as you go.
But you would re-experience it as a kid, or you would re-experience it as an adult without having the memory.
I mean, you're splitting hairs there. I wouldn't mind, like, I think there would be a very unique experience playing myself, knowing who I am and how I play games, playing Pokemon for the first time now. Like, it would be a very weird experience it'd be hard to imagine, but it would be so neat to like go into it, like really having no idea what's going on and having to like figure it out.
Yeah.
Not using the internet. I don't know. Like the internet's so easy to come by now, and like playing it again. And then Persona 5 Royal would be my third one.
Nice. Yeah, that makes me wonder. If I had my memory wiped of Pokemon, I probably wouldn't like it. I feel like it's purely nostalgia, like that, just falling in love with it as a kid, and then like it was like never really went away completely, which is always kind of back there. But yeah, what about you, Patrick? Any games that you wish you could just erase their memory of so you could play them all over again?
Well, here's the thing. My memory is not really that good anyways, so I can wait 10 years and play it again, and it feels
so maybe
like
you
I'm playing
have
it for the
played a
first
Zelda
time.
game.
So, but if I had to choose, I would say Red Dead Redemption 2. That one was incredible.
A heartbreak.
I would play Hades. That's my number 1 game of all time.
Yes.
And I would say The Walking Dead Season 1.
You just want to hurt yourself, it sounds like.
Brutal. I love those stories in those games, man. They're just so
fantastic.
Good. Yeah. I think it's another question that you could ask, which is similar to this, but obviously way different, is any games that you could erase from your memory of playing, but then not play them again. Like Bluey for me, or other games that you just don't like. But yeah, we do have another guest who's ready to join in, who I will bring him in a second. But I also, if anyone needs to go, just let me know. And we can filter people in and out. But
he can take my spot. I'm gonna have to hop off, but
okay.
I want to say congratulations again on 100 episodes. It's a huge milestone. It's something to be proud of.
Dude, thank you so much, Andrew, and thanks for hopping on and being here to help us and support us, and for contributing to a good conversation. It's always fun talking to you. So enjoy the rest of your night.
Yeah, you too. Thank you.
Thanks.
And then I know this is a shock, but I also need to leave.
Yeah, no problem. I know everyone's kind of limited on the time that they have. So feel free. Thanks Tim for hanging out with us too.
I really want to let you guys know too. I'm very proud of you guys for doing what you're doing, and like as a parent and a gamer and everything, I really appreciate like seeing content like you guys create, and like not that you're doing it for me personally, but I really appreciate seeing it being created, and I'm very proud of you too, and the work that you guys have put into it. And then also another thanks just for having me on. Like I feel very honored to be able to be a part of this.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think one of the things that I want to do with this podcast is have more guests on in the future and do things like this. So I think it's so far it's been fun, and I always enjoy when we get to have people on. So
You know how to get in touch with me, so you just let me know, man.
All right, thanks, Tim. Have a good night.
Y'all too, and Patrick and I get to talk to Nick, but you guys have a great night as well, and I'll see y'all later.
All right, thanks,
Take care,
Tim.
Have a great night.
You too, man.
All right, and we got a new voice in. Nick, welcome in, man. Thank you for hopping in.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Hi, everybody.
Hey, so I've been trying to like introduce people as they come in, but Nick, I've known for a while online and had a chance to meet up with once in person, but he also streams, although I think you're currently taking a break, but that may change at some point in the future, so go check him out. But yeah, Nick, we're just going through a bunch of questions that we received from people. We've collected 100 questions and we're like 20% through. So
Awesome.
we still have a lot to run through. We did some giveaways, which we'll do some more later. But yeah, I'm gonna get into the next question, which is, I guess this is for me and Joanne specifically of this one. But now that you've reached 100 episodes, what goals do you have for the next 100 episodes, if any? Joanne and I had completely different goals, which this was kind of the first time we really talked about like what we wanted longer term for the podcast, which I know sounds weird, but we just kind of take this thing one day at a time, I guess 1 week at a time. So it really forced us to kind of sit down and talk about longer term goals. And for me, it was to have more guests on with us and do things like this, which we don't normally do. And it hasn't been without its IT issues, but that was my kind of longer term goal. And then for Joanne's, we like to go to conventions. We've been to DreamHack a couple times, some things like that, and she wants to do a panel at a convention, which is kind of like a nightmare to me because you got to like speak directly in front of like a room of people, versus like just doing it online or virtually or a podcast, even though it's not that different. But yeah, that's kind of my answer to that question. But I'll go ahead and go to the next one, which is, what is your favorite game of all time? And actually, since we're in Patrick's questions, I will pitch that over to Patrick of what is your favorite game of all time?
Well, I just mentioned it just a few minutes ago, Hades. It is the best gameplay, the best story I have ever played. It is not for the faint of heart. It is a very hard game, but it is well worth the payoff. Hades is number one.
That's a good game. I would second that. For me, if I had to say like my favorite game of all time, it would probably be World of Warcraft. I know that's probably an odd one, especially nowadays, but just considering how many hours I put into it. And it's a game that like every time I like unsubscribe or uninstall it, like it always asks you like, oh, why did you leave? Are you going to come back? Kind of thing. And I always feel in that I'm going to come back. It's usually on every expansion for at least a few months. So they always get me back somehow with that game, but it is a tough one to play. Nick, do you have a favorite game of all time?
Man, this is a hard question for me. I'm stuck between two, but I think I'm gonna go with BioShock for my favorite game of all time. The original BioShock. The story and just the way it blew me away at launch. I just have never had a game captivate me the same way, so it's got a really, really special place in my heart. So yeah, I'm gonna go with BioShock.
Nice. The first one didn't get me as much, but what was the third one? Was it Infinite or?
Yeah, that was Infinite. The Sky City.
Yeah, that one was more my speed. I know you're more into the suspense kind of games, but that one, the story wise and everything, was just I really dug that one. All right, next question. What is a game you thought you'd like but hated? And for me, I kind of thought I would enjoy Sea of Thieves a little bit. Just being the, kind of be a pirate, get a ship, go out and do stuff and explore and stuff. And, like with the Megalodon and Kraken fights and all the kind of stuff that you see in videos. But then the reality of it for me, and maybe it was just my experience and maybe it was just an odd chance, but like as soon as I left the safety of harbor, I would just get constantly attacked by other players. And maybe there's a way to turn it off or do something. But I don't know. It just made it like a miserable experience for me for like a couple of nights. And I just like uninstalled it, didn't want to play it anymore. But I can see like if you have a good experience with that game, it would be fun. But I just didn't get that. And I don't know if you guys have any games that you thought you'd really like, but then you ended up hating it.
Yeah, I mean, I mentioned it before. The Quiet Man.
Right.
It looks awesome. The premise was great, but in practice and the way it was done, it was awful. And I mean, I don't hate a lot of things, but I hate that game. I mean, I really do.
Nick, what about you? Any games you thought you'd like but just didn't?
I'm gonna backpedal on what I said earlier a little bit in chat about Fallout. I love Fallout 4. I really like Fallout 3. I had a friend who begged me to play New Vegas. And you would think enjoying the other two that I would enjoy it, but I just could not get into New Vegas to save my life. I don't know what it is, if it's the setting, or what, but I really, really thought I was going to enjoy it because I started with 4, went to 3, and then to New Vegas, and I just couldn't. I played for like an hour, and I haven't touched it since.
Wow, gotcha. Yeah, I started with Fallout 4, and then I didn't go backwards because that's usually not a good idea. I find for me, and then 76 kind of killed it for me for Fallout games. So I don't know if I'll go back to 1, but I did really enjoy 4. It was amazing. All right, how about this one? If you had 2 more children, boy and girl, what would their names be? For me, I've always liked the girl name like either Sophie or Sophia. I just feel like that's a beautiful name. I honestly don't have any like boy names lined up. If we did, I'd have to think about it. If we ended up having any more kids. But Patrick, I think this was another one of your questions. Do you have any names in the chamber for that?
Yeah, we're not gonna have any more kids, but I like the name Sophia. That's what we were gonna name our daughter, Sophia. Then we changed it to Claire. And then, but if I had another 2 kids, my other boy, his name's Clark Joseph after Superman, which is my favorite superhero. So if I had another boy and girl, Lex and Lois.
Nice, I like it. And Nick, your guys' names are probably a little more recent. Did you have any backup names? Anything that you guys were thinking? You had any more kids?
I know we had a list off the top of my head. It's hard for me to think of any. I always really liked the name Mariana if we had a daughter, but I know Misty wasn't a fan of that one, but I've always loved that name. And then as far as if we had another boy, I don't really know, to be honest, off the top of my head.
Yeah, you guys have been through a lot since you figured out names before, but yeah, I liked the name. All right, what about what is a game franchise where you would like another game or sequel to be made?
Jack and Daxter.
That's a good one. I think they made 3 or 4 of them, and I really enjoyed like the first 2 or 3. Especially like I feel like they really changed those games like after the first one, but I liked where they went with it, and I like where they started with it. Yeah, I did like those games. Patrick, anything that you got on this one?
Yeah, Uncharted 4 ended so awesomely, and it set up a possible story for another Uncharted. So I want to see an Uncharted 5 continuation of that story. I don't want to see an Uncharted prequel or side story like they did with Lost Legacy. I want to see them continue the Nathan Drake story.
Nice. As someone who's never played Uncharted, I don't know what that means. So, or how it ended, but I'll take your word for it. I know it's good. That's one that if I had a chance to, I don't know if any of those games are on Game Pass, but if they are, I may check them out.
They're only on PlayStation.
Okay, that makes sense. So a franchise where I would like another sequel. I know it might be an odd one out. But one game that I enjoyed that I don't think they're going to end up making a sequel for would be like something like Forspoken, which a lot of people didn't like. It's kind of, I'm just thinking of games that like I liked, but the majority of people didn't, because those games are probably never going to get a sequel, and that's okay. But I couldn't think of anything better. If you could be amazingly talented at any sport, which one would that be? For me, I wish I could be amazingly talented at golf, just because in my job, I probably have to like golf once or twice a year with, colleagues and people in my industry that I work with, and I wish I was better at it. So that I would probably pick that, because not only would it make it a lot more fun, but I'd also be able to get through work events a lot easier. What about you guys? Any sports you wish you were amazingly talented at?
Probably basketball for me. I always liked playing basketball when I was younger. But I wasn't very good at it. Maybe if I was just a little bit taller, but basketball for me.
Nice. What about you, Patrick?
I'd love to be like a quarterback. I mean, I play Madden. I got the new NCAA football, and I create myself, and I put me at quarterback. How awesome would that be if it was in real life?
Nice.
Oh, yeah.
Nice. What about, who is your favorite villain in a video game, and why? One of the ones that came to mind for me was Seymour from Final Fantasy X, who's the bad guy, and I guess this is kind of spoilers because he's not like the bad guy at the beginning. That kind of comes out later, but like I liked how, and for anyone who hasn't played, have either of you played Final Fantasy X?
I have not.
Okay.
I have not.
Okay. Yeah. Well, he's kind of like the, royalty guy who like is always there to kind of help the team, but like he does it like in a weird way where you don't really have like this, you don't have like any evidence that he's bad, but he just like kind of feels bad. And I feel like they did a good job of like making that his character, and you kind of have like a sense that he's bad, but yeah, like I said, you don't really have like any hard facts on why that is until that kind of comes out. So I like the way that they did that. Do you guys have any favorite villains? I'll just add in, Joanne wrote down Sephiroth from Final Fantasy VII. Either of you have any favorite villains?
Yeah, Shao Kahn from Mortal Kombat series.
Ooh, nice.
I know his gear is well, he just has shoulder pads and spikes and all that, but man, his face mask and his "you will never win," just like his quips, just so iconic.
What about you, Nick? Any favorite villains?
Yeah, I think for me, I'm gonna give it to two, and they're both from the same franchise. Revolver Ocelot and Big Boss from Metal Gear.
Good picks.
Are they? I don't know them without playing Metal Gear. This is a good question. Another one from Patrick was, how much money would you need to be given if the catch was you couldn't play video games anymore? I thought about it. I would be willing to accept like $10 million to never play video games ever again. Joanne put $1 billion, and then I asked her if she knew how much $1 billion was, because that's a lot. But yeah, Patrick, I figured you probably already had an answer for this one since this was your question.
Oh yeah, I'm with Joanna on this. I mean, $1 billion. Like,
yeah,
gaming is a huge part of my life. Like, I don't want to give it up. Like it would be hard. I don't really care. Like, yes, I would be rich. I'd be able to do anything I wanted. But man, just in the back of my head, just that feeling of regret not being able to play anymore. Yeah.
For me, it was like how much, because like if I wanted to entertain myself as much as video games entertain me now, I would have to. That would be expensive because I'd probably go to like a new hobby every week. And so that would add up, and that would, so that was kind of like how I was trying to figure out how I would replace the joy that video games bring. Nick, are you in the $1 billion range, or the $1,000 range, or the $1 million range? Any thoughts?
Yeah, no, I'm with Patrick and Joanne. We're gonna Doctor Evil this and say $1 billion. I wouldn't be able to do it for anything less.
Yeah, that's fair. What is one game that you never get tired of? I mentioned it earlier. I always come back to WoW. Pretty much every expansion.
To what? I'm sorry, I
To
couldn't hear you.
to every expansion, I come back to World of Warcraft for the most part. So that's probably the game that I've played off and on, like, for the longest, since probably mid to late 2000s. Nothing else would probably beat that. I don't know if you guys have any game that you never get tired of.
Yeah, I mean every WWE game that comes out, I play forever. Like WWE 2K24 just came out, and I'm still playing 2K13, 2K14, Shut Your Mouth, SmackDown. I'm still playing them all. I'd never get tired of them because the roster changes every year,
Mm-hmm.
and then theme music changes every year. Well, I play all those.
Nice. Nick, any games for you that you always come back to?
I had to really think about it, and I think that I've got two that come to mind. The original Saints Row for the Xbox 360. It was really grind heavy, but I always really enjoyed it for the humor and just how kind of odd it was for its time. And then Metal Gear Solid 5 is another game that I was really big on the multiplayer component for a while, and even though the online's really kind of dead now, I still manage to find lobbies, and we'll go back and play with the same kind of group of gamers that I find, and I never get bored of it.
Nice. This one might be kind of in the same ballpark, but what game have you beaten the most? For me, it's probably either going to be Final Fantasy X, that I think I've beaten like 4 times, which is not an insane amount, especially considering it's been out for almost 25 years. Or maybe like Zelda Ocarina of Time. I know I've beaten probably 3 or 4 times if you include the latest one. I don't know about you guys. Any games that you have beaten many times?
Yeah, I Resident Evil 1. And it's not just the OG Resident Evil 1. Like Resident Evil 1 has been the game I've seen that has been remade or remastered the most. So every time it does that, I beat it a couple times, because that game you play as both Chris Redfield and Jill Valentine. So you have to beat it twice every time you play it. So I've probably beaten that game 15 times.
Wow, so that includes the OG and the remakes.
OG and the remakes. Every time that I own it on pretty much every system. I played it on GameCube, PS1, PS3, PS4, PS5 now, and I played them all.
Nice. And Tim says Uncharted 1 through 3 every year. What about you, Nick? Any games you have beaten the most?
Yeah, I think I'm with Patrick. I used to speed run the original Resident Evil. I don't do that anymore, but I still find myself playing through it at least once or twice a year at least. So I'm gonna piggyback on that and say Resi, and then probably BioShock is another one that I come back to a couple times a year if I'm just looking for something to run through.
Nice. Yeah.
Did we just become best friends?
I think so.
This next one's a good question. If you could create a VR game, what would it be? And
Virtual tap dancing.
ooh, unique. I'll say that.
It's very unique.
Well, Joanne's back now, so she had. What was your answer for this one?
Pac-Man, like,
A virtual reality Pac-Man.
yeah.
Okay.
Like walking around the neighborhood, eating guts.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I remember I had something. I forgot what my idea was for this. I guess while I'm trying to remember it, Patrick, do you have any ideas for a VR game?
Yeah, I think I remember this more of like an experience. I want it to be like Google Earth, where you can go anywhere and it feels like you're there. 'Cause I don't mean like traveling costs so much, man. It's so expensive to travel nowadays, especially with a family. If I could just throw on a VR hat and just be in Egypt or Argentina or hey, maybe Brazil with Lucas. I
Yeah.
would love to do that.
That'd be cool to like you have the Google imagery, right? So you know what everything looks like, and then if they could just use like I don't know AI or something to fill in the blanks of like
Yeah,
create
yeah.
people and characters and stuff to fill in everything. That's a cool idea.
Exactly.
I still don't have a good idea for this one. Nick, do you have any ideas for a cool VR game?
Um, is there maybe like a virtual, like a skydiving game would be kind of like I remember when the PSVR first came out, I played Until Dawn: Rush of Blood, and I was surprised at how sick it made me. So I feel like a virtual skydiving would be kind of cool if it's something that you want to trick your brain into experiencing without actually jumping out of a plane.
Right. I'm not gonna lie, that was my
That'd be
idea.
crazy.
That's the idea that I had in my head yesterday when I was going through these questions, and I forgot what it was, and that was it. And I remembered it as soon as you said that. So you had the same idea where I was going with that. But yeah, let's go to the next one. What game would you like to have a co-op mode that currently doesn't have a co-op mode? I think
Elden Ring.
that's yeah. But there's the co-op mod you can do to make it co-op. So that's actually how I played Elden Ring. But yeah, it needs like its own co-op version of that.
The Witcher.
Witcher would be a pretty cool co-op game. Honestly, I would think like anything in the like any of the Zelda games would be pretty cool co-op. I think just like going around and exploring and fighting bosses together and maybe solve. I like the puzzle aspect of games when you make them co-op because you like have to figure things out together. Kind of the whole escape room idea, I guess. What about you, Patrick?
Spider-Man 2. Spider-Man 2 should have been co-op. I don't know why it wasn't. It should have been.
That's another franchise that I never played any of the games of.
Yeah,
Dang,
I'm
Kevin.
I know.
gonna
Come on,
say
man.
hard agree on that. Spider-Man 2 should have been co-op. Also, Kevin, that's in. You never played the original ones, the original Spider-Man 2, the Tobey Papa Maguire games.
No, I never did. I was like heavily influenced what games that I played based on the games that my friends were playing, and none of my friends were playing that. I feel like a lot of the games that I get into are because games that people are talking to me about.
Not enough time in the day.
Yeah, and plus there's not enough time. Yep. If you had the ability to travel in time and go anywhere, where would you go and what year? I would go. It doesn't say into the past, because if you had the ability to travel in time and go anywhere, where and when would you go? So I would go into the future. I would say like year 3000, just to see what it is like, and then come back. What about you guys? Would you guys go at some point in the past? I know Joanne said she would go back to ancient Egypt and
Pyramids.
see how the pyramids were built.
Hmm.
Any thoughts from either of you?
You know what? Keeping it simple. I think I would go back and visit my mom if I had to pick a time.
That's a good answer, Nick.
Very good answer.
What about you, Patrick?
For me, yeah, I would. So I'm very, um, religious, I guess. So I would love to go back to the New Testament times, and I would love to see the Sermon on the Mount from Jesus. That'd be
Nice.
pretty cool.
That would be pretty cool.
Next question I have here is, what is your favorite ice cream and cone of choice? And I will give mine as chocolate chip cookie dough and a chocolate dipped cone.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta go Rocky Road and a waffle cone.
Nice.
For me, it's got to be soft serve. I love the soft serve, and in a waffle cone. But I don't know if you've ever heard this before. They call it a dream cone around here, where it's dipped in chocolate with like the nuts around the rim of the waffle
Okay.
cone.
Yeah.
They call it a dream cone. Oh, yeah.
I don't think I've ever heard it called by that name, but I definitely see those all the time.
Where are you based out of, Patrick? If you don't mind me asking.
Yeah, Cincinnati.
Oh, okay.
All right, now here's the one you get every time you go out to a steakhouse. How do you like your steak? For me, I feel like there's no other way than medium rare.
Rare.
Joanne says rare.
Mhm.
What about you guys?
I could go either way, rare or medium rare.
Okay.
Not tartar. Tartar's not my stomach doesn't like that.
What about you, Nick? What do you normally say for how you want your steak done?
Yeah, I stay in medium rare territory. I couldn't do rare.
Yeah, I don't. I'm probably more with you. I normally go medium rare, and if I had to pick something else, I'd probably go medium versus rare. But all right, next question: how much ice do you put in your cup? When I'm putting ice in my cup, I put like the bare minimum, like just enough to keep it cold, like for how long it's gonna take me to drink it, but not more than that, because then I just end up with a watered down drink and not very much liquid in it. So, what do
Yeah,
you?
I'm the same. I agree.
All the ice.
All
the
the
brim.
ice? Then I feel like there's
All the
nothing else in it besides ice. It takes up all the space.
Yeah, but I need my drinks cold.
Yeah.
If there's that little bit of ice, if I see only like a top layer of ice, the rest I'm so deflated. I need more ice.
Another drink related one. Do you say pop or soda or something really random like sparkling beverage? I have always said soda, and I just growing up. That's just I think it always like depends where you're from, and I think I was fairly older when I realized people don't say soda like everywhere in the U.S. And every time I hear somebody
Yeah, it's
say
regional.
yeah, it's very regional. Every time I hear somebody say pop, I feel like that I'm like in another country or something. Like it just seems extra foreign to me. But what about you guys? What do you say for that?
Yeah, we have pop around here.
Yeah,
It's soda. I'm a soda guy.
yeah. I think Joanne, it was soda too, right? In
Yeah,
Malaysia.
soda.
Yeah.
Mhm.
All right. Next question: what countries have you visited, and which were your favorite? I have not visited that many countries, so I'll go ahead and fire mine off. I've been to Canada, Mexico, and I know I've been to Jamaica and Belize, and I think that's it.
Yeah, I've been to Mexico for our honeymoon. We really didn't see a lot of things because we were in a resort. Really can't say much about that one, but the other country I've been to, so I've only been to 2 other countries. Other one was Brazil to see my buddy Lucas. So I've been there a couple of times, and that's my favorite spot.
Nice. You're actually just there recently too, right?
Yeah, last month.
Yeah. What about you, Joanne?
I didn't list down the number of countries I've been to, but my favorite is the Netherlands. I like everything about it.
Amsterdam.
Yeah, Amsterdam.
But you've also been to like India.
Yeah.
And France.
Yeah, France, Belgium,
England.
the UK,
Yeah.
England,
Japan.
almost all the countries in Southeast Asia,
Singapore. Vietnam.
Indonesia.
He's like world traveler.
Yeah.
Just I think just
Well
17
seasoned
or
everywhere.
19.
She says
I'll need her-
just 19 countries.
Yeah, I'll need her to help develop the Google Earth game I'm looking
Yeah.
at.
Yeah. What about you, Nick? Have you visited any countries?
Yeah, I've been to Mexico and I've been to the Bahamas, and between the two, Mexico is definitely my favorite.
Mexico can be pretty fun. I've always enjoyed my trips out there. Next question is: do gamer parents experience burnout the same way as other parents do?
Oh yeah.
And I think yes, it's not the gaming part that you experience burnout with usually. It's usually the busy parts of being a parent that get you burned out. And then the gaming is kind of just the, alleviating the stress of being a parent. I feel like
Unless it's a Souls game, that stresses me out more.
sure, that's fair. that one I think is kind of more of a question for us. But are there any games that have changed your outlook in life? Yeah, I think for Joanne and I, it's been It Takes Two, which just as far as like the seeing the characters change. And Patrick, I believe you said you played that game once before, and Nick, I don't know if you ever played that game, but it's definitely takes a harder look at like relationships and marriage and stuff throughout that game. So I feel like that one would probably be up there as far as that, like you can kind of take a step back and take something from, because you kind of get these characters that just don't treat each other nice, and they kind of come around towards the end of the game, and sometimes it feels that way with relationships that we're in, you know. I don't know if you guys have any games that changed your outlook in life.
Yeah, man. There's this game called Celeste. It is a game that is, I guess the main thing is about depression, and
Great
no matter
game.
how high no matter how high you climb, you're gonna fall down into the bottomless pit, basically, and you need to climb yourself out of it. And the story to that game is just incredible, and the gameplay goes into the story. The way it's done is one of the best. So good.
Wait, how do you spell it?
Celeste, Celeste.
Oh, okay.
And where can you play that?
I think all platforms: Switch,
Okay.
Steam,
On Steam.
PS5, Xbox. I played it on Xbox. It was a Game Pass game at one point.
Oh, okay, awesome. Yeah. Nick, anything come to mind for you for any games that changed your outlook?
Yeah, there's two that come to mind. One more than the other. The first one I'm gonna give it to BioShock again. The second one, it really impacted me before I became a parent, and now as a parent, it means even more to me. And that's the first season of The Walking Dead. And probably the subsequent, the rest of that Telltale series. I just thought, as far as you know, this is for your kids and the people around you, and navigating grief and life and all this stuff that you're still dealing with, but now have a tiny human that depends on you. It's just been, like I said, it always really impacted kind of the way that I approach things going into my adult life, and now as a parent, even more so. I already know if I replayed those now as a dad, I'd be crying like a baby.
Nice, yeah. Yeah, I think certain games definitely hit different after you become a parent. And I think that's even like, It Takes Two is kind of one of those games that like I wouldn't really think anything of it if I wasn't married, and just like depends on what stage of your life you're in, and they definitely hit different. Next question is, with one of you working full time and the other managing the household, how do you navigate the division of labor at home? And does gaming ever influence how you share household responsibilities? So I mean, I guess for us, how we navigate the division of labor, and I don't know how things are for you all, but since we have two kids now, Joanne's pretty much with them all day, and I work, and I don't know. It's one thing that I try to do, just knowing that she's usually been busy with them all day, is when I do get off work, I am usually trying to be on the kids like full time, and let her. Well, plus like one reason so that I get to see them more because I've been working all day, and then give her just kind of a break from not having to deal with a 3-year-old and a 5-year-old, and either giving her just a break to do whatever, or even if it's doing a different chore versus taking care of the kids. Sometimes it's just that mental break that's needed. She says, "Yeah, she heard the very end of that."
He appreciates you.
We do each other, yeah. Appreciate each other so much.
Yeah, I'm the same way, man. Same thing.
Yeah,
like I'm working all day. My wife is home, and I come home and it's my turn. She's usually she has dinner ready, and then my job is clean up.
awesome.
And do
Yeah,
all the other things that she wasn't able to do.
yeah. And I know Nick, you guys just kind of barely have a 1-year-old. Oh, but I think Nick's out for a second because I think his 1-year-old just woke up.
Speaking of the 1-year-old.
Yeah, there we go. There's his turn. So there's his division of labor. So totally get that. But yeah, I'll go on to the next question. How has gaming impacted your relationship and connection with each other? Have you found that gaming together strengthens your bond, and do you engage with any gaming communities as a couple? I think the only gaming community that we engage in together is pretty much like our own Discord and stuff. But then I definitely think it's awesome that I get to play video games with my wife. So gaming together, I do feel like strengthens our bond. That we get to play games together. As long as we're both enjoying the game, I think that just makes it extra enjoyable when we're playing it together. I mean, same thing, how like it's more enjoyable to play games with friends than by yourself, and even more so with a family member or a spouse.
Even Overcooked.
Yeah, that was fun. That was like one of the first games that we played together, I feel like.
Yeah, that could be dangerous at the same time.
Yeah. And then I don't know if you have anything to add kind of around playing games with people or and obviously you have your community, and I'm sure you probably get to play games with Lucas from time to time too, but
yeah. So my wife doesn't game.
Right.
She's an avid book reader. So there are many times where she goes and reads her book, and then I go play my games. So rarely we play together. We have played Overcooked. We've beat Overcooked together. That was a challenge. It also strengthens our relationship in as far as communication. But yeah, we don't game together. I play more with my son than anything
awesome
else.
Yeah, and that's cool. And I think I'm kind of finally getting to the point where I can play games with my son, being that he's 5, and
cool.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Okay, this is another kind of question for us, I think. What kind of games do you enjoy playing together? Are there particular genres or titles that you both find especially fun or rewarding? We've always liked games that require us to work together more, that require communication. Like, I don't just want to go play a game where like I go over here and she goes over there, and we might as well be playing single player. I don't. That's why Overcooked was fun. It was challenging, but obviously it got us to talk a lot. And then also any games that like get us talking like throughout the day, right? Because sometimes like we might be in the middle of the day like doing stuff for the kids, and then we'll be like, I can't believe so and so did this, or turned out to be the bad guy. Like, we'll bring something up from like the night before, and then we'll be like, gosh, I know, right? So anything that like goes past just our gaming time is it's fun to have.
So we have something else to talk about apart from the kids.
Yeah. And now as parents, how do you approach the topic of gaming with your children? Do you have any rules or guidelines in place, and how do you plan to introduce gaming to them as they grow older? That's we talked a little bit about that earlier. Just like pretty much limits on screen time and how much they can game, and how we plan to introduce gaming to them as they grow older. I think that's a tough question of as far as when they're ready for certain things, and there's obviously age recommendations on video games. Other than that, I feel like we have to kind of cross that bridge when we get there. Patrick, you have kids that are older than ours. How did you feel about that? Like, when was it time for Clark or Claire to be able to play certain things? And did you just strictly go off of what was recommended, or did you try and play things first, or how did you make sure they were safe?
This is a very good question. And I think we're in a very, I wouldn't say unique position, but we're in a good position as gamers that we know the types of games that are coming out. There's a lot of games, and we grew up playing games, and we're playing games with our spouses and things like that. So we know what kinds of games are out there. So if you hear the term Grand Theft Auto, you're not gonna let your 5-year-old play Grand Theft Auto. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
So if there is a game that's called Bluey, you're like, okay, this is gonna be good. And I know what, regardless, we're gonna play some of these Game Pass games, But like you said, screen time is very, very important. Setting those boundaries, being there, playing with them. I think being very invested in what their interests are. Like my son, he likes to play Roblox, and that's a community game, and not just kids play Roblox. So we got to be there helping with the settings for filtering out things and making sure that he doesn't talk to people over the phone or give out information about who he is, things like that. Just giving him the tricks of the trade of don't say who you are, where you live, and things like that. So but being a gamer since I was 5 years old, and growing up in there, I know what kinds of people are out there. I played Fortnite, Call of Duty, Apex, and heard all these people on the voice chats. Like, there's a lot of things that I don't want my kid to hear. So what do we do to turn those voice chats off so he doesn't hear other people and things like that? So there's a lot of things that you can do to keep them safe.
Right. Yeah, and I tell this story every once in a while, and how my mom accidentally rented Grand Theft Auto for me when I was probably I don't know, 11 maybe, 10 or 11, and she didn't know video games. She didn't ever play any video games, and it was me just, hey, can I rent this? And yeah, sure, it's a video game. Like, how bad can it be, right? And then they found out later what that meant exactly. So. But no, if she had known, no way would she have rented that for me, right?
Absolutely not.
And we know kind of what games are okay, and which games kind of have, I think a big one is the online piece of know who they're talking to and that kind of thing. So, our son being 5, he has no business talking to anyone online. So I always make sure that stuff is off, and if he wants to play something that's multiplayer, he can play it with us. Next question is, what's one game that you haven't played that you would love to? So a game that I haven't played, but that I would love to. I would love to play Pikmin 4. I bought it a while ago when Nintendo had a sale, and I just haven't had a chance to. I really liked the original Pikmin game. Thought it was a cool idea that you go around and get an army of plants and go fight bigger creatures and stuff. And I don't know, when I get time, I'll eventually get around to it. But that's one that I would like to play that I haven't had a chance to. I know Joanne wrote Plague Tales Requiem as hers, as one that she would want to play, only because she got to kind of follow along with me when I was playing it and got to experience some of the story and the ending.
Nice.
I won't ruin anything for the ending, but the ending was pretty intense and, definitely a turn. What about you, Patrick? Any game that you haven't played but you want to?
So I really wish Andrew and Tim were here to hear this, but I've told Mark that in the first Zelda game I will ever play is if they remake Ocarina of Time, because I know that Mark it's his favorite game of all time. If they were to remake that one, I would say I told him it'll be my first game.
Andrew's still in the chat. He says I heard that. So he's still listening. Yeah,
good.
That's awesome. That game is worth it. Even just playing through the N64 version, like lately. We went on vacation with my cousin, and that's a game we both loved growing up, and so we decided to start that and try to finish it through vacation, and unfortunately we didn't, but we got pretty far into it, and it was a blast. What is one game you've played that you would recommend to someone new to gaming?
It Takes.
Yeah, so Joanne recommends It Takes Two as something it was very forgiving of a game, which is one thing. But it may or may not be good, may not be a thing for everybody. To me, I've always felt like RPGs are relatively easy as long as there's a lot of details and there's a lot of decisions, but a simpler RPG would be easy to kind of start with, I feel like, because there's no time constrictions, right? You're not being forced to push buttons at a really fine-tuned order, or timing's not all that important. You just kind of get to take your time with it and make your decisions. I don't know, any games stand out to you, Patrick, for being a good one for someone who's new to gaming?
Yeah, we mentioned it before. Overcooked.
Overcooked.
Overcooked is a good party game. It can be hectic. It can be hard. But I mean, I played it with my wife, and she's not a gamer, and we beat that thing. So
Nice.
I love it's a really really fun game. Like I said, it can be crazy and hectic, but it's a
Cute.
blast.
Yeah.
And anytime that anyone is coming over and we play a party game, it's Overcooked every single time.
Nice. I don't think we've ever done it just always been us two. But if next question
It's
is
wild when there's 4 people.
oh, I bet
Oh, I
that would
can
be kind of
imagine
it'd be
that.
kind of crazy. If you had a video game themed tattoo, where and what would it be? I've thought about this some. One idea is, I know we keep going back to Zelda stuff. I think the Triforce symbol is pretty cool. Just to have that. If I ever got, I'm not gonna get a tattoo, but like if I did, it would probably be like on my upper arm or something. Just somewhere where it's not extremely visible. And then other ideas would be like maybe like the horde symbol from World of Warcraft, just to show my allegiance to the horde. And those are probably like the only two things I could think of. Joanne, did you have any ideas for this?
I like the Naruto one.
Oh yeah, there's some cool Naruto symbols.
The one on his belly, you know?
Yeah,
With the Jinchuriki.
or even just the Konoha village logo
Mhm.
emblem or whatever you want to call it. But Patrick, any thoughts from you?
I don't know, man. Like I have some tattoos on my left arm. It's more of like a upper half sleeve, I guess. But I don't have any video game tattoos, and I've been thinking about this for like 15, 20 years since my first tattoo. I'm like, I don't know what I want. I really don't, because I could get so much, but I want to make the tattoos that I have are very very meaningful to me. And I just don't know what video game tattoo would be meaningful enough for me to get. Not sure yet. Eventually I'll get one, but I don't know. I don't have an answer for this one.
Nice, gotcha. Okay, that's fair.
Neighborhood gamer said he needs a Zelda
A Zelda tattoo. There you go. Let him play that Ocarina of Time remake first. What?
It's just gonna make me remember. I've never played a Zelda game.
Maybe you played it when you were a kid and you don't remember.
I mean, I watched my brother play Zelda, The Legend of Zelda on a Nintendo. I don't know how he beat it. He did.
All right, next question is, what is your least favorite thing about the beach? I would say probably the sun, because I get sunburned like really fast. Like there's no way I'm outside for more than an hour or two and not have at least a little bit of a sunburn.
The sand for me.
Joanne says the sand.
I like the beach.
Yeah.
The beach is great. The only thing I don't like about the beach is if there's like seaweed or jellyfish.
Oh,
That's true.
the
jellyfish.
saltwater life out there.
Mhm.
Outside of that, I love the beach.
Nice. What do you consider to be the least important bodily sense, and why? To me, I thought this one was pretty obvious. The least important bodily sense for me would be the sense of smell. I would be good if I didn't smell anything. I feel like most smells we get are bad. Sometimes there's good smells, but versus sight, hearing, touch. What's the last one? Taste.
Sorry, taste.
Yeah.
Taste.
Yeah, I mean, like I can't really smell anything anyways. So I'm just gonna say smell.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
I think Joanne's in agreement too. She's nodding her head. Where is your favorite place to go and think and pray? For me, it's always been like my shower time, right? Like it's always towards the end of the day, and just kind of my time where I'm typically alone and can kind of just pray if I need to, and that's my quiet time.
It's the closet.
Joanne's is in the closet. It's her quiet space.
Yeah, my war room.
Must have a big closet.
Yeah. What about
for me? It's the drive to work and back.
Yep.
I have like 20 minutes drive, and then about 15-minute walk. I work downtown, so it's like a 15-minute walk from the parking lot. So I have a pretty good chunk to listen to through the Word app, which is what I've been going through currently in Exodus. Yeah. So that's it's the best.
Nice.
Me and God time.
Yeah. If you could invent the next modern convenience, what would it be? This is an invention idea that I've had for a long time, but we need like a smart fridge that every time you get food, you scan it, and then it knows when the expiration dates are and tells you when things are expiring soon.
Yeah.
So you could make a point of using those things. Because that always
I
gets
like
me.
that.
I feel like all the time I'm like, oh, this expired like 3 months ago. I can't, I feel like that would be a cool idea. This
I
question. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean that's great. That's a great idea. Like I want in on this.
What about you, Joanne?
Teleport.
Yours is a teleportation device, I think, right?
Yeah.
What yours was? Which is that? I don't know if that's the next modern convenience. I feel like that's many modern conveniences out.
It's a futuristic convenience for sure.
This comes out tomorrow, by the way. Yeah. Approximately how many jokes can you quote by heart?
Oh no.
And I feel like I don't know that many jokes.
What?
Maybe a few like from our son that I know. I don't remember where he gets them, but I feel like when I was a kid, I used to know a lot more jokes because we needed those to entertain ourselves, I guess. But now I don't really know very many jokes.
Yeah. Oh, you're a dad now. You got to have those
Yeah.
at the hip, You just gotta fire them away. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you got to be able to be the funny guy.
My favorite go-to is why do ducks have feathers?
Why?
Hide their butt quack.
That's a good one. I've never heard that before. That's a good one. All right, next question. On a far more serious note, what disease or sickness are you afraid of?
Alzheimer's, 100%.
That's a good one. And then for me, it'd probably be melanoma because that runs in my family and get a lot of moles and stuff like that. So that's something that I'm usually always considering, especially with how much time I'm going to spend in the sun.
No joke.
Yeah. What about you, Joanne? Just any kind of cancer?
Yeah, any kind.
Yeah. Makes sense. During the week, how late do you go to bed and how long does it take you to actually go to sleep? For me, usually between like 11 to midnight, and then how long it takes me to go to sleep. I'd say probably on average, maybe like 15, 20 minutes.
You're sleeping so fast.
Every once in a while, it'll be like an hour or more, depending on like if I'm thinking about the next day or something. I think Joanne's probably the same, except she probably takes longer to go to sleep.
So much things on my mind.
Yeah.
About an hour, maybe.
Yep.
Patrick, what about you? How late do you go to bed, and how long does it take you to go to sleep?
All right, so I guess I'm an anomaly. So I stay up 1 a.m. to 2 a.m. almost every single night. And then I go to bed, and it takes me, 2 to 3 minutes to fall asleep.
Mm-hmm.
And I am in deep sleep. I have dreams every single night, and I only sleep for 4 hours. So it's very easy for me to fall asleep.
Nice. You're
because I don't sleep a lot at night.
Yeah, you're a lucky one then. If you were guaranteed an honest answer to any question, who and what would you ask? I feel like I'd have to ask. I don't know. I feel like if I could like go back in time and ask Jesus something, like and get like a for sure answer on. I don't know what I would ask, but I feel like it'd be something there. But I don't know. Joanne had a funnier answer to that one.
Guaranteed and honest answer, right?
Yeah.
I'll ask you, do I look fat?
And that answer is always no.
You think you're biased?
Yeah, just ask your kids. Your kids will give you the most
that's true.
honest
That's
answers
true.
all the time.
Yeah.
They don't sugarcoat anything.
Yeah. Any thoughts on that one, Patrick? From
If I were to ask, I'd ask Lucas. Lucas always gives me a straight answer, and gives me an honest answer, and gives me an answer to think about too.
nice,
He's a good guy.
yeah. What silly and serious ideas or truths will you never be dissuaded from believing?
We have an example. Like what? Like what?
So
It's
it's
a big question.
For me, it's like using rice water to wash the face and the hair helps the skin glow and the hair to grow.
that's like an Asian thing, which there's a lot of things that aren't necessarily proved by science, or could be, or maybe they are. So some of them are, but she'll soak rice in water and then use that water on her skin, and it's supposed to be like good for the skin. And she'll always believe that, and that's fine. And many other things, which sometimes we talk about, which I won't get into. She's laughing already. That she'll do, and nothing I say could dissuade her from doing that. So for me, I don't think I had anything written down yet. It would be something like how cold water is not bad for me, or health, or unhealthy necessarily. I don't know. I always drink like really cold water, and some people say that's not a good thing.
I now that you say that, it reminds me of people who take cold showers, say that's better for your health. Liars, absolute liars. I don't
Yeah.
believe you for a second.
What's your favorite sport to watch on TV, to play, to teach, and to fail or suck at? So my favorite sport to watch on TV would be football, American football. My favorite sport to play would be tennis, and my favorite sport to teach, probably basketball, either basketball or soccer. And then to fail or suck at, I don't know, probably something fun like bowling, I guess.
My favorite sport to watch, soccer. To play or to teach, nothing, because I'm not good at sports.
Mhm.
And to fail is bowling.
Bowling also? Okay. Nice. What about you, Patrick? Favorite sport to watch on TV, to play, to teach, or to fail at?
Football for all four.
Nice.
I love football.
Wait, American
And
football?
yeah. Sorry. Yes, American football. None of this football, football, soccer nonsense. I don't. I'm no good at it, and I don't like it. I don't just like I don't know if it's just watching soccer. Just people flop, and after they get hit, like, and then I watch hockey. People get their teeth knocked out and they're back up, and they're not injured or anything. So, but yeah, NFL football is the one I watch. I love to play it. I love to teach it, especially my daughter. She's into flag football for her school, which is really exciting.
nice.
So teaching her about that. It's one of the coolest things.
Now, who or what makes you laugh hysterically? I think there's been plenty of times where my wife will make me laugh hysterically. I forget like the last time. But yeah, there's a lot of times from that. And then a close friend of mine who we play a lot of video games with, he can make me laugh a lot too. But like hysterically, that's like a whole different level. I feel like there's a lot of laughing that goes on the Good Morning Guys podcast. Would you say any of those guys are who can make you laugh hysterically, Patrick? Or
Well, yeah, they all have their ways to make me laugh hysterically. Like I'm a very humorous guy, so a lot of things make me laugh. But if I had to pick one, be honest, I don't know this guy. He doesn't know me, but it's the comedian Nate Bargatze. I don't know if you've ever heard him, but he's a dad. Kevin, Joanne, if you haven't seen him, he is the cleanest comedian, and he's got a couple specials on Netflix. The best comedian I've ever heard, and he's just from the dad perspective. It's
Nice.
so awesome.
Joanne's Googling him right now, so we'll check him out later.
Yes.
Nice.
Highly recommend.
If you were forced to give your life savings to a single charity, which would you choose? I know I would choose something like kids related because I feel like
Yeah.
it'd be hard to do anything other than giving towards a charity that's going to do something for kids. Particularly like kids with cancer or something like that. Would probably be where I would go with that. Is there anything that you're thinking there, Patrick?
Yeah, there's we do give to a lot of different charities that are associated with our church. One of the ones that we do, the big one, it's called Nate's Toy Box, and we provide presents to kids who do not are part of families that don't have enough money to get presents.
Yeah.
So we provide the presents for all those families. It's very, very good. Feels good to be able to do that for them.
Nice. Yeah, that is good. If you were to get thrown in jail, what would it be for?
For me, it's protecting my children
Yep, from bullies specifically.
from bullies
That's fair.
or any other bad people.
Yeah, I feel like that's a good one. For me, I don't think I had an answer for this one. I don't think I've ever come close, but I feel like if something did get me to do anything that I shouldn't do, it'd probably be like for my kids or involving them at least.
Oh yeah, I mean, once they get into like some sort of team event and you have to like get in another parent's face, sometimes you just gotta slug them. You know what I mean? So that would probably be when I would go to jail.
Yeah. What's the saddest movie you have ever watched? I don't really like watching sad movies. I don't like that are particularly sad. I remember being sad watching, what was it, Marley and Me? With the one with the dog.
Marley and me, yeah.
Yeah,
That's sad.
I remember that one being sad, but it was like a good. There was funny parts, but it was still a very like overall sad movie.
It's Me Before You.
Joanne says "Me Before You," which was a sad one, but that was more of like a girly sad one.
Yeah, girl.
But someone has to represent the females.
Yeah. I mean, you don't even have to watch the whole movie Up. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah, the beginning.
Just the beginning, yeah.
Ugh, just heart wrenching.
Yeah.
But no, the movie for me is, oh man, The Notebook. I will never watch that movie again because it tugged.
Too many heartstrings. Yeah.
Yes.
I get you on that one. The U.S. makes a $2 bill, and you get to decide whose face goes on it. Who's it gonna be? I would say no one's face. So I don't know. I think it's kind of weird we put faces on the dollar bills. So I would say if we had a new bill to use, we could put no one's face on it. Put something else. I don't know.
Einstein.
Put The Rock on it.
The Rock. Joanne says Einstein, which is good.
Yeah.
With his tongue sticking out.
Oh, that one. Yeah.
The famous one.
Have you ever named your cars? If so, what and why? I have never named like a car or any any object like that.
I named my car once, but I don't remember what it was. I did it because of a friend.
Oh, okay. Patrick, do you name your cars or anything?
I don't. I've never done it before. I know Lucas.
Is Lucas? Because it was his question. He asked this question, so now I'm thinking
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, his car I think is Leia. I'm pretty sure.
Okay, yeah. Like God put you in charge of designing a room in heaven and hell. What would they be like?
What, we could design a room in hell?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
This is another one of his questions. I feel like any room I design in heaven is not going to be as good as the rest of heaven. But I don't know. I feel like a room in hell would be like I don't know.
How would it be?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I'm not sure about this one.
Okay.
Every video game system known to man in one room. Every system has its own dedicated TV and chair.
Yeah. And then in hell
I
it's
don't
the
know.
same version, but they're all the screens are frozen or the controllers don't
All
work.
the games you hated.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good one. You are given one wish, but whatever you ask for, your spouse gets the inverted version of it. What will you wish for?
Oh no.
Yeah. I gave this some
I
thought.
will not wish anything.
Yeah.
You take
Oh.
back your wish.
I would wish for like a lot of ideas, but the inability to act on them. That way, you don't get the ideas, but you get to help me work on it.
Yeah, so we get the exact opposite, but we
Yeah.
complement each other and
Mhm.
get it all. That's a good one. You can only listen to one song, watch one movie, and play one video game for the rest of your life. What are they and why? The only one song, I'd probably pick like a worship song.
True.
And I don't know which one. I have quite a few.
So will I.
Yeah, I like So Will I. And watch one movie, maybe something like the first Matrix movie would be a good one. I feel like that could entertain me for a while. And play one video game for the rest of my life. I'd probably say World of Warcraft,
Yeah.
especially if it means it keeps getting expansions.
Oh. Cheating the system there, huh?
Yeah, it's probably considered more than one game, but yeah.
I would probably Resident Evil 1. Is the game I would want. Movie. Oh man, I'd have to rewatch it. It had to be a funny movie. So maybe like Ace Ventura: Pet Detective.
Yep.
And then a song. Never Enough on the Greatest Showman soundtrack.
Yeah. On a scale of 1 to 10, how adventurous are you? I'd say I'm probably like a 4, or yeah, probably say a 4. I'm not on the more adventurous side.
Really?
You're definitely on the more adventurous side.
I thought you were more.
How much you like to travel.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm like a 4 as well.
Yeah.
I'm a 7.
She says a 7. If you could travel back in time, what date would you go to, and what one thing would you take with you?
Oh, I will go back to when my dad was around,
Mhm.
and then I'll like bring my iPhone now and take a lot of nice selfies.
Yeah, that's good.
Hmm.
If you could travel back in time, if I had to go back in time, I don't know, probably to the pyramids or something, or go back in time to when Jesus was walking the earth and human form, and
Record
hang
it.
out with him, become a
So you're going to record it. What will you bring back with you?
oh yeah, maybe. I don't know. I feel like that would be risking changing things in the present. Maybe for good reasons and maybe for not. I don't know. But what's
yeah. I think the same thing. I'd go back some sort of in like the New Testament times, like when Jesus was in his sermon days.
Mhm.
I would love to do that. But yeah, I would do the same thing. I would bring my phone and I'd record it.
Yeah. What's the worst habit you have?
Checking for crumbs.
Biting my nails.
Biting your nails. Joanne said checking for crumbs on the countertop. Which I would go ahead and say that my worst habit is leaving crumbs on the countertops. But yeah. What's the grossest thing you have ever done in public?
Why are you looking
Oh,
at
man.
me?
I'm not looking at you.
You are. I
Yeah.
clogged the toilet public.
At the Easter service at church.
And yeah, and then I still flush it and everything came out.
Oh no.
I
Like
know.
flooded the restroom.
Flooded the restroom, and then you have to be the one walking out of the cubicle asking for help.
Yeah.
That was gross.
Yeah. We'll stop there. I didn't say only Joanne was going to share on that one. What was your worst subject in high school? Mine was probably Spanish. I think like no matter how hard I tried, I could not get an A in Spanish. That's probably the worst one for me for whatever reason. languages were hard for me.
Yeah, high school wasn't that bad. But accounting in college, I couldn't figure that out for the life of me.
Yeah. What about you, Joanne? I feel like you excelled in everything pretty much.
Yeah. Or maybe just PE.
Okay, PE. I guess
suck in
that counts.
sports. Yeah.
How old were you when you had your first kiss? Have your first significant other? Me, I was like 20 for both of those.
15.
15 for Joanne.
First kiss, 8th grade. So what was that? 13, I guess.
Yeah.
Oh.
Then first significant other, my wife. I didn't have any long-lasting relationships, and we met in our end of our junior year of high school. So we've been together ever since. So what is that? 23 years now.
Nice. Yeah, that's awesome. That's
Wow. Congrats.
yeah,
Yeah,
that's
thank you.
that's a good way to do it. What's your favorite Bible story? What's your favorite Bible character, story, book, and verse? I think it's hard not to say Jesus for your favorite Bible character. And then story.
I like the David and Goliath story.
Okay, that's fair. I mean, I have a lot of stories that I like. I mean, I like everything with Moses and leading the Israelites out of Egypt, and I don't know. There's just a lot of stories where it seemed like the person that God was trying to get to do something didn't feel qualified, and I feel like that's a good example of that. And I think it resonates, and I think a lot of times we feel like we are not good enough, and so I don't know. I guess I didn't really ask why, but my favorite book is probably Corinthians. My favorite verse is, I forget the exact one it is. I know it's in Psalms, but we actually have it in our daughter's room over her bed. But it's "You are beautifully and wonderfully made," because we want her to know that. But yeah, that's my favorite character, story, book, and verse.
My favorite book is Proverbs, I think. Teaches a lot of lessons in life. Favorite verse is also from Proverbs. The one that's trust in the Lord with all your heart, lean not on your own understanding.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that one.
Patrick, do you have a favorite Bible character, story, book, or verse?
Yeah. Favorite book is Romans. Favorite character, I mean, Jesus is the easy answer, but if I had a secondary one, honorable mention, Paul.
Paul.
I mean, he wrote basically the whole New Testament, so he's a great character. The story of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, where they were just in the fiery furnace and they believed, and the shadowy figure was in there, kept them alive. So love that. And then favorite verse is Matthew 7:1. Judge not, or you too will be judged.
Powerful.
Yeah, I got that. That's one of the tattoos that I have on my arm.
Oh, nice.
Oh.
Next question I have here is what. Oh, so Murph in the chat says, I think it's 1 Peter 5:14. He who finds a wife finds a good thing.
His favorite
That's
verse?
a good one. Yeah. Next question I have here is, what do you do for work, Kevin? And what would you do when/if you go back to work, Joanne? So this ones are kind of specific for us, but I work for an oil company and I sell fuel to other companies, commercial companies, without going into too much detail. But Joanne, what would you do if you went back to work?
If I go back to work,
Mm-hmm.
probably work with international relations, which is totally different from what I work as before.
Something in international relations?
Yeah.
Okay. And then next question is, what did you study in school? I studied economics.
Mechanical engineering for me.
And then Patrick, were you some kind of finance or accounting or?
I was in operations management, so making things more efficient.
Okay, nice.
So Six Sigma, all that.
Nice. What, if anything, would make you move away from Houston? So this is because that's where we live. Forget what I was thinking about for this one earlier, but I mean, not a whole lot.
Probably when our kid gets married and wherever they move, we move with them.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of it is kind of where our family is.
Yeah.
So I mean, when our kids move out, that's one thing, but that's a long ways from now.
Yeah. We're
Um,
staying here.
Yeah. Where is a dream destination for vacation that you haven't been able to visit yet? And Joanne said Italy.
Yeah.
I don't think maybe Japan for me.
Oh yeah, I want to
Patrick-
show you Japan.
Yeah, Japan would be pretty cool. That's one place that I wouldn't mind visiting for sure. Patrick, anywhere you haven't been yet that you'd want to go check out?
Yeah, I'd love to go to Ireland.
Ireland would be
That'd
pretty cool.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. My grandpa on my mom's side came over on a boat from Ireland, and he signed the ledger at Ellis Island and all that stuff. So I'd love to go back and see his roots.
That's pretty cool. I don't think I really have anywhere that I could go out and travel that where we came from or where my roots are. That's kind of cool to have. I do really quick want to do another spin of the wheel, do another prize giveaway, and I'll also add, Patrick, you're on here with 3 entries, so you may win something here.
Let's go.
Let's see who is gonna win. We're gonna do another spin. And it's Pyro at large. All right, he won the 3rd
Right.
prize. And since we're here, we may as well just do the 4th one, right?
Yeah.
All right, we're going to spin it one more time. This is going to be our last spin of the wheel. Oh, it's close.
So close.
All right, Strife is our last winner.
Right.
All right. Okay. That was a quick break, but we'll get those prizes out to them later. Aside from parenting and games, what is something that you could nerd out about? For me, that's my work. I feel like when you kind of are in the same industry for 10, 15 years, you rack up a lot of knowledge you could talk about for a long time and answer. You could pretty much answer to almost anything on a lot of that stuff. So I think it would probably be more about like what I do for work. So around U.S., gas and diesel supply, basically. I know Joanne wrote anime because she knows a lot of animes, and she could talk about those. Anything that you could nerd out about, Patrick, besides gaming or parenting?
I sports stats. Like I love
Yeah.
sports stats.
That's awesome.
I can quote these stats from the baseball when I was growing up, and NFL stats going on right now, people's contracts, what the records are. I mean, I can just go on and on.
Nice. Yeah, I know that at least as far as the sports games go, I know you like those. What is
Hey guys, well I gotta
Yeah.
I gotta jump off here.
Okay.
But
Oh, for
I
sure.
do want to say thank you for having me on. Congratulations again on 100 episodes, which is really, really awesome. And here's the 100 more, guys.
Thank you. I know we kind of went over, and you by far stayed the longest, Patrick. So thank you for
No,
thank you for
man,
hanging
I
out with
was-
us.
Yeah, I thought I was only going to be on for like 20 or 30 minutes, and then the wife took care of the kids. So
Aw.
I was able to stay on here a little bit longer.
Nice.
So, yeah. Thanks, guys, for having me on.
Yeah.
Congrats
No,
again.
thanks, Patrick. You have a good night. Okay.
Good night.
All right, you too.
All right. Bye. Okay. Let's go ahead and finish the questions. It's just gonna be the two of us.
Yeah.
And what is an obscure piece of media that you adore, but most people probably don't even know exists?
Mine is the Enid Blyton books.
Are those online books or
No, they're
physical books?
physical books, but it's like from England. Like the author is English. Actually, I don't think the author is alive anymore. But yeah, it's hard to find here, very difficult to find in the US. I was even tempted to bring my collection here, but it would be too heavy. But what about you?
For me, it's this thing that I discovered recently called Pokidoku, which is like a combination of Pokemon and Sudoku, basically. So it's like a 9 square grid thing, and there's different like Pokemon types, and you have to like match them up, kind of thing. It kind of looks like Sudoku, but it's related to Pokemon, and it's like an online thing that they'll post like different puzzles that people try and figure out. Which is kind of cool. I don't actually do it, but I like to see people's answers and follow along. Next question is, Jack Sparrow comes into your life. What is the ensuing interaction like? So me, I'm assuming this is like Johnny Depp.
Yeah, but Jack Sparrow.
Jack Sparrow.
Not
No,
him.
I'm thinking like when I think of Jack Sparrow, I'm thinking of like Johnny Depp's portrayal of that character, right? And I feel like I would be like more intimidated by that Jack Sparrow.
Really? I feel like he would be fun to like crack jokes with, drink with.
Yeah. So, it would probably be a more awkward interaction, and I would probably like not really want to engage.
Oh, okay.
But a continuation from the previous, if there is an adventure, is there an adventure? And if so, what does it involve? It would definitely involve like taking down like some kind of kraken or something.
Kraken, yeah. And I'll have a lot of Dramamine with me.
Yeah, anything on a boat with you.
Anything on a boat, yeah.
What is something you want to change about yourself?
Probably my OCD-ness, which is really hard to change because I'm so used to having things in their own spot. Plus, in Japan, it was like you always have to clean up after you eat, whether you're at a fast food restaurant or anything. So I got used to that.
Mm-hmm.
What about you?
Yeah, for me, to change something about myself, I could be a few inches taller. I could be 6 foot.
You're so tall now.
Yeah. Why not? I'll go ahead and choose to be 6 foot tall.
Aw.
What is something you wouldn't mind your partner changing about themselves?
I wouldn't mind if you're 6 foot.
Yeah.
Not that I would prefer it, but I
wouldn't mind it.
I wouldn't mind it. Yeah.
I wouldn't mind if you didn't get motion sickness anymore.
True.
I feel like that's not a fun place to be sometimes for you, and
especially when you like traveling, huh?
Yeah, it makes traveling kind of tough.
Yeah.
If you were asked to preach on Sunday, what would it be about? I would probably do something about like forgiveness.
Ooh, nice.
Right? I feel like that's something that we hear a lot, but people, still need to keep hearing.
Mm-hmm. That's a good one.
Because of how it is important. So, what about you?
For me, it's about how to love yourself the way God loves you,
Mm-hmm.
which a lot of people need to hear.
Yeah. If there was a new skill that you could just download to your brain and know it immediately, what would it be?
Martial arts for me.
Yeah, I was thinking some kind of martial arts like karate, or really that just made me immediately think of like the Matrix.
Really?
Right?
I was
When
thinking.
you plugged into the computer, and then like, all right, I know Kung Fu now.
Oh, was it how Matrix
Yeah.
was? Oh, I forgot. It's been
That's
so long.
like how they basically train him. Like they just plug him into the computer, and like a minute later, like he basically downloads the knowledge into his head.
Oh.
Yeah, so it'd be some kind of like karate or something. Twizzlers are obviously the superior cherry flavored vine. Can you tell me why? This was asked by Wolf, and probably because he knows there was a debate about Twizzlers versus red vines, and
I love Twizzlers.
He's showing his colors here by saying that Twizzlers are better. So I'm gonna remember that one, Wolf. But to me, yeah, red vines are better, and I don't like Twizzlers at all, so I can't even answer that question. And then what is your favorite element? Think elemental, fire, water, anything in that vein. So I'm thinking like fire, water, air, earth,
Water for me.
water. I've always liked water as far as elements go.
Really?
I think if lightning is in there, which I feel like lightning is sometimes not included, but I do think lightning's pretty cool too. Now, what is your favorite element? Think periodic table of elements. I've always liked silver, but I feel like it's not gold. Like everyone seems to like gold more than silver. I've always liked silver. I think it's cooler. So maybe that's my favorite element.
I don't know what's my favorite element from the periodic table.
I know there's a lot of
Oxygen.
other ones. Oxygen. is
Probably just
nice.
oxygen, yeah.
What is the first thing you said as a kid that you wanted to be when you grew up? Well, I know for a long time I wanted to be a video game developer, which didn't happen or even really come close other than sending in resumes. Other than that, for a while I wanted to be a teacher.
Okay. I wanted to be a doctor.
Okay. So you were either going to be a doctor or an engineer, huh?
Or a lawyer, actually.
Yeah, they set the bar high. Those are your only options. What is your first thought when you think of what you want in your kids' futures?
I want them to be happy and healthy.
Obviously, happiness
Yeah.
is a good one. And then just like knowing that they're loved, I think, by not only us, but God and others and the rest of their family. So
Yeah.
that's important. Now, sci-fi or fantasy? Just a generic question,
Fantasy.
sci-fi.
But you like fantasy games.
I do like fantasy games, but if it's just generically, I like sci-fi.
Okay.
Who's your favorite character in Tolkien's writings?
Legolas.
Yeah, for a long time it was Legolas. I think Gollum is growing on me a little bit more, especially with Wolf's impression of Gollum, which is really good. You should check it out if you don't know. So yeah, that's about it though. I'm not a huge Tolkien fan of the books and stuff. Anyways, but if price was no object, what car would you be driving? Lamborghini?
Yeah.
Okay. Any particular kind or just anyone?
I remember
as long as it's called Lamborghini.
No, I remember liking the Murcielago and the Gallardo ones before. I used to see them a lot. Like when I was in college or something, I see other people drive them.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a dream car.
Yeah, mine wouldn't even be like a supercar because they don't really seem all that appealing to me, or none of like the, super brands. But mine, I would probably pick like a Corvette or something like that. Do you have a creative outlet that you want to do, or maybe that you used to do but haven't been able to in a long time?
Cosplaying for me.
Yeah, that's one that you haven't really had a chance to do, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or at least at the level that you wanted to. For me, probably poetry. Like I used to do more of that. Like when I was in school, I really liked it.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah, and I just haven't really done that in a long time. Do you have a favorite number? My favorite number is 8.
1.
1, nice. What advice would you give a 13-year-old that you wish you could have gotten and internalized at that age? So when I was 13, I feel like I wish somebody would have told me not, and people probably did, to be fair. But I wish I would have understood that I shouldn't worry about what other people think of me. I feel like when I was in school, I let that thought stop me from doing a lot of things.
See that here?
What about you?
For me, I think I'll tell myself not to waste time on puppy love back then. Just focus on the future, knowing that Kevin is here.
Yeah, that life is long. You have time.
Yeah.
You have to pick one point in history or in the future to time travel to and stay for the rest of your life. Where and when do you go? I think we both agreed on this one, that we would go to the future.
Yeah, I mean, I would love to visit the past, but I don't want to stay in the past.
Don't live in the past. It's not good.
Not good. Not good for women, even. Yeah, the future.
Yeah, I think the future, but just hoping that the future is better than
I know, right?
than the present. Have you ever had a game you just didn't care for? Why? And any favorites?
The Secret Neighbor. It still creeps me out.
Secret Neighbor I didn't like. Even like from the very beginning. It wasn't like, oh, I just got bored of it. It was, I just did not like it at all. And then, of course, the Bluey game, which we talked about.
Yeah.
And then any favorites, of course, Final Fantasy X, World of Warcraft, League of Legends.
Oh, favorites. Yeah.
Marvel Snap, Hearthstone. Those are some favorites. How do you choose games? Do you alternate who chooses, or is it a joint decision?
Well, for games that we stream, we try to make it a joint decision so that we can both enjoy it. But for games that we both play separately, our own.
Yeah. I mean, as far as what we play together, we don't really take turns. It's more like both of us agree that game looks like fun or could be fun.
Yeah.
We try it. I mean, there's been times where like we try a game and one of us likes it and one of us doesn't as much. And then one of us is ready to move on to the next game and then the other one's not.
True.
What is your Chick-fil-A order?
Anything like crispy chicken biscuit or something.
Yeah, for me it's anything spicy chicken. Like spicy chicken
spicy.
sandwich, spicy chicken biscuit, whatever.
Crispy and spicy.
Yeah. Oreos or Chips Ahoy?
This is easy. Oreos.
Yeah, Oreos.
We even got the Oreo cake.
That's true. On a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, do you prefer grape jelly or strawberry jelly?
Strawberry jelly for me.
Yep, I can't have peanut butter, but if I have to pick jelly, it would be strawberry jelly. What is the last song you listened to?
Diana and Roma.
Well, yeah.
Because the kids play them.
I haven't listened to music for myself today, I don't think, but it was Diana and Roma, which is a kids YouTube channel, and they make songs. Other than that, it was actually would be the Encanto soundtrack.
Oh yeah, the Encanto soundtrack. You played the Luisa one.
Yeah, that was
Surface
earlier today. I did. That was the last song that I picked that I listened to. Where is your dream vacation as a family?
I say we want to go on a cruise.
Yeah, I'd say a cruise would be a lot of fun just because, the entertainment and food's taken care of and you could stay as busy as we want. And there's usually places that can watch the kids, like when we just want to drop them off for a while.
Yeah.
And lots of swimming and hang out wherever we go to port, That'd be fun. And last question. What game is the one game that got you hooked and wanting to play more?
World of Warcraft
a lot of them.
for me.
World of Warcraft was probably...
I still want to get back when the next expansion comes out, probably.
Yep, which I think is next month.
Yeah, August 26th.
Yeah, I'm seeing all the commercials for it now already.
Yeah, the War Within.
Yep.
But you know what? Let's do one more. I don't like the number 4. So, I know there's 4 winners right now.
Okay,
let's
do
do
you wanna do
one
one more?
more spin. Just because I haven't clicked on it.
Okay, so we're going to do one more spin. So let me go over there.
Yep.
Okay, go ahead and spin away, Joanne. And it's Sabrina. Sabrina won.
Sabrina, good job. Okay, I'm
All
satisfied
right.
now.
Yes. Okay, Sabrina won as well. Okay. Yeah, so that was all of the questions. We can go ahead and run through where people can find us.
Yeah.
So over on YouTube, the Gamer Parents Podcast channel, or over on Twitter or X at x.com/gamerparentspod.
Or Instagram at gamer_parents_podcast.
Give us a like, follow, subscribe, whatever it is, wherever it is, and we would greatly appreciate it.
Yeah. But that is it for episode 100.
Yes, so we
Wanna
will...
rate out? Share some love?
We can. This is, it's a Twitch stream, so we can rate out. But with that said, we will catch you in the next one.